Yo.
What's goody?
That story. You remember when Elon was telling us that he ate shorty ass, and then
Come on, bro.
then he had
Don't
another shorty come over in the morning.
like,
He ate her ass too. That shit was crazy. Are we
Yo,
live?
boy.
Oh, shit. My fault.
Yeah, I know we gotta get monetized, right? Nigga, now you won't fuck this up from getting monetized, man. Being childish. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
You got to be good for the first few minutes.
the first
Oh,
what it is, like probably like 5 minutes. I don't know, something. It's already too late. I'm gonna have to edit that out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
what was goody though, man? How your day was? You know, I gotta get into the days real quick.
My day was pretty productive, man. I got a lot done.
Productive. Okay. Like, tell us about it.
Well, you know, I mean, I did some Dailyrapupcrew business. You know what I mean, I'm gonna chop it up with y'all later about what I got going on. You know what I mean?
Okay. That's what I love to see it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Why you keeping it away? We got Greens in the building, you know what I'm saying? Amber there, you know what I'm saying? They gotta know all the exclusive shit.
I gotta make sure, you know what I mean, it's solid before I announce it, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. I can understand. I respect that.
But that revolt deal came in, like my fault.
Come on, man.
What about you? What about you, Drew?
Yeah, man. Same old, you know what I'm saying? Regular Thursday, you know, maintaining being a dad.
Eli favorite day of the week. Yo, tell them about your raps, man. Tell them about your raps, man.
Who, me?
No, Jew. The burritos he made earlier. Man.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? I'm a real chef, you know what I mean? Not like these dudes, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to a man that can really cook.
Oh, this is what we doing?
Oh, my homie Ace do his thing. Eli, I never
we don't know that
credit because he actually does. I never tried the food yet. I got to try the food. Once I do that, then I know he solid. But
no doubt. I mean, I got
Eli. That nigga is Mr. Uber Eats.
Yo, King, you Mr. Uber Eats too. Fuck out of here, like
nigga, I be chefing it up. I mean, I just got a text from my mom, asked me if I cooked, but I ain't cooked today though. So, I mean,
yeah, all right. Like yo, you be fooling the people at home, bro. I know the real you, man. You ain't gotta lie.
Look. I mean, put it right on the screen. I mean, mom, I mean, she asked if I cooked. I said no. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's cool.
Yeah, she was asking.
Good, I'm safe.
She ain't want you to burn down the house. That's why she asked you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yo,
like,
the hate be so real in here, man. I don't get it.
Oh man, hey man, make sure you hit that like button on the way in. We got a great panel. We got some great topics. We got a busy weekend, man, ahead of us, man. We got a show tomorrow, game night. Make sure live show.
First time with an audience. Know what I mean? That's gonna be good
on Friday and Sunday. Then we got the game night. Make sure y'all cop y'all tickets, man. Y'all go right to
Yo, Amber, you pulling up to the game night, right? I already seen her.
She said she's not pulling up. She said she can't pull up. She
can't pull up.
Yeah, son came up, so she ain't.
Man, we sending a jet to you right now. Get in the jet. We gonna
Dailyrapupcrew jet. What up, Michael?
Paper planes, literally.
It might not make it back, but you be all right. Like I'm saying, like yeah, but so like I said, we got the game night Saturday. If y'all in the New York City tri-state area, make sure y'all cop them tickets, man. Them tickets are selling. I ain't gonna hold you, man. Like
we got a few left.
Yeah, get them before they run out. We got the new episode premiering tomorrow, 11 a.m. Make sure y'all tune in for that. That's a pretty good episode as well. I'm just excited about the episodes that we got like planned. Like we got some good episodes lined up, man. I was watching one of them today, and I'm just like, I can't wait for this one to drop, man.
We've been on fire lately. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you, man. Definitely been on fire, man. So so we pretty much got that. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to this whole weekend, man. It's gonna be pretty eventful. You know what I mean? My Thursdays be uneventful, but this week is going to definitely be eventful. So make sure y'all tune in.
Word. Thursday might not be your favorite day of the week this week, man. You know what I mean?
I know one thing. After this weekend, we all gonna be tired.
I was about to say, yo, Eli, you gonna take Monday off, nigga?
I don't know. It depends. Like, you know what I'm saying, like, we even might have 2 shows on Sunday. So I mean, I don't know. Like, it depends. The show must go on, man. It's a matter of time. So
show must go on.
Yeah, so wait, how I sound to the chat, man? Let me make sure I sound valid out there, man. I be fake using his. I be trying to act like I'm a streamer, and I be using his mic, but I don't know. That should be sounding regular. Right now, I don't got it in though. So if y'all hear a difference, yeah, just a regular MacBook. So if I sound good in the chat, put a 1 in the chat, man. Like,
sound regular. I ain't gonna lie.
What you sipping on over there? Apple juice?
Come on, man. You know, I make a mix. You know what I mean? They call me bartender.
Keem is the only person to drink wine through a straw. He's that bougie. Like,
this is not wine, nigga.
I'm just saying in general, you would do some shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
This is that Bamboo, you know what I mean? Sponsor us if you watching Bamboo. Exactly, you know what I mean?
Nigga, they ain't got a sponsor. You drinking that shit.
You need it for free.
Like, yo.
I ain't gonna say it's good until they sponsor us, though.
Yo, I see Weasel in the chat. You gonna put a 0? Like,
yeah, why Weasel always hating, bro?
Double O's. Nah. Get money
Weasel,
out.
Weasel be having the low key jokes throughout the show, though. If y'all really look in the comments, they be having low key jokes.
Yeah, so we definitely gonna get straight into it. I'm gonna introduce the panelists one by one. Let them introduce themselves. And if y'all got any questions, I know y'all gonna have something y'all want to get off your chest. Make sure y'all hit them in the super chat. Definitely helps us out. And if y'all, we're not begging for super chats, but if y'all want to do that, it definitely helps us out. And if y'all don't even want to do that, just hit the like. You know what I mean? That's free. That's free support.
I'm begging. Hit that super chat.
Oh, I mean, he begging, like, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm begging for y'all for the super chats and the likes, man. We need both of them, like, you know what I mean? So,
nigga, Michael getting love already, man. I need an Ola Papi. Send me an Ola Papi, Puerto Rican princess.
So I'm gonna go in and introduce the panelists. Let them introduce themselves. Y'all already familiar with this person right here, man. Like,
you on mute? Sade in the building. You on mute, Sade?
Hey,
what's up?
Thanks for having me. Shay Sade over here. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and I'm happy to be here. Excited about today's conversation.
We appreciate you for always blessing the live stream. You know what? We never gonna forget you. You're the first person we ever did a live stream with, man. I never forget that. So, appreciate you for pulling up and having this conversation with us.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Hey.
What's up?
I'm Paradise Paris. And did you want me to tell people where they can find me?
That's up to you.
That'll be helpful.
I don't know. It's been a lot going on. I'm just kidding.
We're gonna get into that.
No, I'm Paradise Paris. I am a social media curator, and you can find me on TikTok at Paradise Paris _ in the front. On YouTube, just Landed in Paris. I am on here. And you can also find me on Twitter. I have my new account back, and it's _ Paradise Paris 4. So my old account back, excuse me, _ Paradise Paris 4, and on Facebook and IG Paradise Paris.
Okay, appreciate it.
Very nice.
Yeah, I appreciate you for joining the panel, man. We're gonna definitely get into some. We're gonna get into some topics, man. You're a very controversial person in these TikTok.
I'm not controversial. People just sensitive.
I mean, I respect it. You know what I mean? So.
Hey guys, I'm Dasha. I am Renisa, and we are the Personal Space Podcast. And we are on Instagram at the Personal Space Podcast. My personal is Renisa Rose, RANESSA ROZAYYY.
And mine is Amazing. So it's at _amazing. Amazing is spelled AMAZEING _.
And we from Jersey. Yeah.
I like how names go from complicated to simple. Like,
a dash of amazing is true.
Yeah. We appreciate y'all for pulling up, man. I like that coordinated effort y'all had. Like, I don't know if y'all rehearsed that or if that's just natural.
That's
like,
the intro. That's the intro for the show.
Yo, we ain't never do that.
We gotta work on that. We gotta get our intros right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, we gotta get an intro. I ain't gonna hold you. You know what I mean? I just wanted to show that real quick. Shout out to you, Puerto Rican princess.
Bella, but I think Bella handling something, but I think she's gonna be back later. But
yeah.
Hello, I'm Elena. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram under Elena J, and you can find me on Facebook under Elena Savage. And I live in Florida.
Florida.
Like, you know what
I don't
mean?
think I told people where I'm at. I'm in Dallas.
Oh, okay. Dallas, we diverse over here. Like, you know what I mean? So I like that. You know what I mean? So, like I said, Bella would join us later. I know she's taking care of something, but she's absolutely going to participate in the conversation when she gets a chance. So get into this first topic. I had another guest I made this topic specifically for her because she was very much in the TikTok space, and she's very much an activist for Black women being protected and stuff like that. But what is your thoughts on the whole protect Black women, and how can Black men help to protect Black women? Anybody can answer?
Well, we can go about this for a long time.
Well, please do. Start it off.
Let's go. So for me, I feel like Black women are protected as long as we don't trump Black men.
Explain that.
So I feel like it's like, okay, so when a Black woman is being harassed or, like, what's her name? Damn, what is her name? Now I just drew a blank, but Brianna, right? The girl that got shot in
Megan?
No, not
Breonna Taylor.
Yes.
Come on, Breonna Taylor?
Yes, I drew a blank, but it's like it was all good until it wasn't. When it was like her man did this. So then it was like everybody put so much focus on her man, and it was like, but he was doing this and he was doing that and he was doing this and he was doing that. So it made it like it was her fault that they came and shot and killed her.
I think oftentimes with Black women, we have to prove that we are really a victim before we get protection. So I could be bleeding, gunshot wound. What were you doing to get shot? Take rape into account. Well, why were you wearing that? Where were you at? Nah, I'm a victim here. Like, we have rapey culture, but I have to govern myself accordingly so I don't get raped. It's never the onus placed on the man to protect Black women. It's do your part so you don't get hurt, not respect the woman so she doesn't get hurt. Protect her so she doesn't get hurt. So I don't, it's such a broad topic. And I think that it just comes back to all the ideologies that have been infiltrated into our culture and all the systemic things that are in place. It's hard to break it down, but I do know that when it comes to the expectation of the Black woman, protection is lacking. Like, we're expected to carry this load. We're expected to work. We're expected to take care of our children. We're expected to take care of our home, provide like a man, take care of the place like a mom. There's such a big load. Like, there's a burden on our back. I always think about that picture of the woman. She's sitting on the side of the bed. Like, in the morning, it's like, I forget the painting's name. I think we've all felt like that. And then there's no protection. The moment we say we're tired or it's too much, it's like, well, it's not that bad. But if a man were to be tired, it's like, all right, you could take a break. A man will babysit his kids, where a woman has to take care of her kids. It's just, it's a lot of unlearning that we have to do, I think, as a community.
And I think we live in a male society, so I don't think any women are protected. But when it comes to Black women, I think we get it harder because we're supposed to be this independent, strong woman. And a lot of us Black women, we walk in that. So we come off as we don't need to be protected. We got ourselves, and the whole male, female between Black men and Black woman, the whole feud we got going amongst one another, we're putting each other down. I think that adds to it as well. Even with the whole Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez, everybody's so focused on, she definitely got shot, but it was more against, a Black woman trying to take down a Black man. So that's what I think about that.
Okay, Paris, what's your thoughts?
I think this is whistleblowing. I think it's quite disingenuous. Breonna Taylor actually boyfriend was in the house shooting back at the police. Her previous boyfriend was the person that was the cause of the demise. And we took a lot of emphasis on say her name, she's not protected. And that was a lie perpetuated. That man was fighting for his life and had been grieving in the process of losing his girlfriend. He watched the whole thing and they tried to pin something on him that wasn't there. Secondly, there are a lot of things in our culture that do need to be unlearned. But in this particular case, Elena kind of pushed on it. We champion the very things that we say that we don't want. Protection starts with listening. And many of us can't be told nothing. So it's like when we're talking about listening or protection or things like that, majority of us have internalized feeling like Black men aren't worthy of simple respect. And then we're asking for them to go out and do something. Because when we're talking protection, we're only talking about something in a violent manner. We're only talking about something that is extreme, which I do think that there is an issue with the violence in the culture, not just femicide rate, the violence in the culture altogether. But Black people too are definitely highest related to proximity of poverty. Anytime you put people with poverty, there will be violence. It's a direct correlation. So the whistle blowing for me is having people like Megan champion for protecting Black women when they're not telling the whole story. Even though Tori was wrong, it still goes to show like we're very conditional with this. And we're also lying, because there are a plethora of men that I can call right now that other women can call that will get into situations. It's always a common thing in the culture. We know how to pick up the phone and tell a man something and he come running aggressive, combative immediately. There are several men locked up to this day that we'll never talk about that are behind bars because they went to defend a woman. And I think with the culture now, it's becoming very critical to push the narrative of gender, because there isn't a brother, a son, a cousin, an uncle, a goddad that don't go to bat for the women, but we want it on our terms. And that's not fair to them.
Preach.
Definitely.
Preach.
Okay, that was a lot. Sade, Bella, y'all want to add anything to this?
Hi, everybody. Bella, 27 years old, from Detroit in Florida. I have a YouTube channel where I talk about femininity content, natural hair as well, and relationships. So anyway, to touch on the topic. So I really appreciate what Precious said. I wrote down a couple things that she said. She said conditional. A lot of women have conditional femininity. If you're naturally feminine, a man is going to protect you, whether he knows you or not. In my opinion, the issue with Black women is, we carry that facade of I'm strong and independent. I don't need no man. For one, because we pushed out the men from the community, but we wear that facade and then expect to be treated like a woman when we act like men. So I think that's, a part of the issue with women wanting to be protected, Black women wanted to be protected, but then you only want to be protected, as she said, under your own conditions. And that's out of order. Men come to bring order. Men come to wrap our chaos into a bow that's in some type of order. And so if we're not willing to yield to his authority, in this case, when he's protecting us, then we obviously don't want or need protection, because we think that we can call the police to protect us. For one, people are running around, women are running around and saying, well, I don't need a man to protect me because I can call the police, or I don't need a man for this because, I can call this person. That is the reason, in my opinion, as to why the Black community is the way it is, because Black women are trying to be men. And to blame Black men for your lack of femininity, to blame Black men for not being in the home when we were the ones who were combative, we were the ones who spoke down on him, we were the ones who went to WIC, went to EBT, and all those things in order to substitute the man in the home. We did all of those things. So that's why, in my opinion, yes, Black women do need protection, but you need to be worth protecting.
Oh, wow.
I hear you.
Okay. I think it's kind of hard to make generalizations like this for women and men. I think that there are truths to what both Paris and Bella have said. However, I do feel that as a woman, our natural role is to submit. It's natural. The same way we nurture, we will submit. Unfortunately, what's happening a lot of times is we are lacking the leadership. So if it's not present, how can the submission be there? How can you submit to somebody who's not going to lead you in the right direction?
And it will be hard to submit to someone who doesn't even know how to lead, who's teaching him how to lead. So I'm going to follow him into what? A burning ditch? Because he doesn't know his head from his tail. So where are we going? So who's teaching this man how to lead? Follow him.
At what point do you think you're not choosing the right men then? Because if the men you choosing not worthy of leading you, then you need to get up out of it, don't you think?
Absolutely.
But I think it's also cyclical. It's cycles. Like we're all, thank God for this push of mental health and healing past traumas and breaking cycles. You know, unfortunately, we come from a long line of people who did what their parents did, who did what their parents did, who did what their parents did. So if you come from a line of brokenness and a line of people being raised by broken people, hurt people attract hurt people. So, you know, we're now in this healing stage, I think, all across the board. And I think it's beautiful. So we're no longer allowing ourselves to be in the company or in the energy of people who don't serve us. And I think now that people are really starting to say, like, okay, if I keep dating the same man, it's me. Like, it's not him. I can't be mad at him because every man has repeated the same cycle. Let me work on myself. Let me attract what serves me. Then I think what's going to happen, and what I'm excited to see in the years to come, we'll start to see these relationships forming that are healed relationships, no more of these trauma bonds. And it's going to take time. I don't think it's something that can happen in the next 5-10 years. I think it's going to take a lot of time. And as we teach our children and as we raise our sons and we raise our daughters, they'll start to form healthy relationships, create healthy bonds. And then down the line, or maybe our grandkids, because it takes a lot of time. And you know, like if you're a parent, everybody doesn't raise their kids the way you raise your kids. So then you know, it's going to take some time, but it's possible. But again, it all starts with self-awareness. So you identify the patterns that you keep recreating. You do the work, but it takes a man and a woman to both do the work. Also to take the work to identify, all right, I've seen this before. I'm not going down that road again.
If I may, can I interject on this whole topic? I think one of the issues when we talk about protection, one of the issues is it's almost like we're putting the cart before the horse, because we're talking about collective protection, right? We're talking about a benefit that comes from a community without at the same time wanting to be accountable. Because how at the same time do we have literally a culture that has made it clear that women can be independent, they can be self-sufficient, they can do all these things and not need a man, but at the same time desire and need the benefits of a man. Protection, submission, a lot of these things are natural byproducts of a healthy, thriving community. Communities are made up of what? Families. Majority of Black kids aren't even coming from two-parent households. So in my opinion, we're putting the cart before the horse. If we had more marriages and more families, a lot of these things would be a lot more natural. You would have a man at home. There would be, cousins. There would be extended family. There would be literally more families, which there would be a community. And then at that point, there is collective responsibility. That is missing because you have so much has broken down. The family has broken down. Where in one minute we need protection, but then the other minute we can't follow them because they can't lead us. But then in the other minute, oh, well, why aren't you willing to lay down your life? But in the other minute, oh, well, you're not ahead. We can't trust you. So it's like we're bipolar. And I think at the end of the day, it's like, you got to get back to the root. Communities are made up of families, and we don't even have families. So without that missing ingredient, then it's like we're kind of talking in circles, my opinion, because we're not even getting to the root issue.
I kind of want to piggyback really fast off of what Sade is saying. I think that the Personal Space podcast, both ladies are going in the right direction. But the issue here is we're literally contradicting ourselves in the verbiage that we use when we speak about this. And that's because when you say things like, well, we want these things, but we don't have anybody to submit to, or he doesn't know the direction that he's going, or he doesn't have himself together. And honestly, I say to that, nobody tells you to not be submissive. You're a woman. If that was something you wanted to do, then if you feel like it's your natural order, you would just do it. I think the issue is that we intend to be submissive to multiple men because we have access to multiple men, and we should not be available for every man. And that's the culture that we're pushing. We're doing these things in a divisive manner to say it's conditional to have the man or understand the value of the man. But on the adjacent end, we're constantly fighting for us to prove how worthy we are or how valuable we are to men. And it's kind of disingenuous to want them to see our value, our worth, and prove themselves. But we're on the other end talking about, well, he has to come like this, he has to do this, he has to do this. My final point about that is we will always trauma bond with each other. There's something about Blackness in relation to each other and the experience that we have that we will never be able to fully disintegrate from all of the hurt and trauma we've ever experienced. It's in our ancestral DNA. We're never going to get away from it. All the way back to chattel slavery. So with what we're doing now, we're not breaking generational curses. We're embedding the ones that we have and creating new ones. Our children are far more reckless and disrespectful. Our women are very terrible at friendships now. There is no sense of community. I remember growing up, it was easy for you to have your neighbor or you to have a woman that you know that was at your church watch your kids, whether you was just at work late at night or whether you was out of town. Nowadays, that is not a thing. Our community has far more disintegrated past the men. The women have an issue coexisting with each other as well.
Okay, I want to throw something out on y'all. Okay, so we want to talk about the root of things. So in reality, single Black women, we're the head of all these households with all these kids that don't have their fathers in their lives. So I feel like it starts with us as well. So if I'm a single mother, I have a son, and I'm treating him like crap. I don't like his father, so I'm treating him any type of way. I'm talking to him any type of way. I'm his first representation of what a woman is. So if he grows up not liking me, guess what? He's not going to like and respect any other woman. So I planted that seed of hate in my son for Black women. And it's the same thing with Black mothers and their daughters. As a mother, we're our daughter's first example of friendship and relationships between women and women. So if I don't get along with my daughter, I call her names, I do X, Y, Z, guess what? She's not going to trust any other woman. So I know it kind of sucks hearing it, but it still falls on Black women because of the male father is absent. So I feel like it's still, we're the seed of this. Like we're still somehow, in reality, we're the head of the household now. So I think it starts with us.
I won't give men too much lack of credit because they've since they've stepped up. The men from the 80s, the 70s, I'm all for bashing them. They were terrible. But the men today, I think, is very unfair, even down to the women in that part of the culture. I don't think that they're in a position to tell us anything because now we're having to right their wrongs, even down to the women. So when it comes to the men today, I don't think that they are necessarily doing anything wrong in mass when it comes to the children. Black men are the most active stepfathers. They are the most active fathers of every demographic. We just have an issue with coexisting in healthy relationships with each other. And I do think that now the men definitely need to take things for face value because we've given them the game plan. There's no way you can get online today and not see a woman, even if she's saying she don't want a man or don't need a man. There's no way you can get online today and not see a woman narrate her standards from top to bottom. You can read her like a book. You can have her in a week's tops. It's just that they don't want to. There's no benefit to them to do it because why am I having to go into a situation and alter our already damaged mentality? She's going to tell me I need to come to her healed, but she's going to want me to be patient to her and she's been damaged repeatedly. It's not fair.
I think it's also not fair to make these generalizations. I don't think everyone's the same. I hear you. There are a lot of women who exist as such, and there are a lot of men who exist as such. I just think it's just find a person that don't exist like that.
You know, I think the problem, because I hear you on that with the generalizations. I think the problem right now is that when there isn't a big collective pushback, then a lot of times, like I'll speak, for example, for Black women, right? Where there was something that happened a couple of months ago where it was she actually was just promoted, I think, to like a major writer in like ESPN or something, Black woman, and she posted a tweet, "Oh, Black men can't even die right. LOL." She posted that. She put Black men can't even die right.
She did. I know exactly who you're talking about.
she posted that. There was all kinds of LOLs. There was laughing. There was retweeting. And you saw a lot of people in the comments like now making a big deal. Now, fast forward, you have this whole Chef Way situation. Now, he did have some rhetoric that was violent, but Black women went and they canceled him so fast.
Who was it?
And so, if you're looking at that like as a man, you're saying, okay, so a Black woman can go and say that Black men can't even die right, and that's a joke. But now a Black man goes and says that he don't like dark-skinned women, and he gets canceled. And so they're left to think like this is one-sided. And now, if you're trying to convince that man, oh, there's good women out there, we don't all think that way, then why wasn't that person canceled? So I think the issue is when there's not a pushback, and when there's not also voices out there who are saying, look, we don't rock with this misandrist, anti-Black male, divester adjacent. We don't rock with that. If there's not enough women who are canceling it the same way they cancel a man who comes out as perceived to be colorist, then men are left to think, well, this is the majority. Because we know how to cancel. Black women know how to cancel people they don't like. We know how to do that.
And
so I think that's the issue of like, not all of us. Well, where are the good ones? Where's the
and it's very hard to say, even in generalizations, right? Because what I'm watching is the culture. I'm watching the culture. Like, oh, there are all these good Black women that praise Black men. No, y'all call us pick-me's. That's what you refer to us as. It's a demonization for a woman simply respecting a man. She don't have to be attracted to him. She don't have to be in proximity to him. But the fact is, even with Chef Way, that man started to be accountable for his behavior. He said that he changed. He said that he had started to see things in a different light. He understood what he said was wrong and why it was wrong. And he went through this rehabilitation process. And that was not good enough. Even with
Chef Way? Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Chef Way,
girl.
Chef Way is a influencer on TikTok. He's a chef, and he also too has a primary corporate job. His job was called, but simply put, what happened is the reporter who is on, she was on ESPN, and she was a writer. She was a journalist. I definitely was working with additional people to get her fired. Hope it worked out. But what she did was she insinuated, she didn't even insinuate, she said it blatantly. There was a Black man who had been dealing with police brutality, and there was another guy who came along, made a joke. They didn't like it. Her response to was, "You guys can't even die right." That's what she said. And it got really nasty because the women were basically upholding it, and it went viral. With Chef Way, there were a plethora of women saying they were bringing up tweets from anywhere between 7 to 10 years ago. 7 to 10 years ago, brought it to the forefront, had this man on national television, even after he went to make the apologies and advised them that he had turned a new leaf. It still wasn't good enough. So all of this is being perpetuated. It's very one-sided because even in the generalizations, you can't find too many women that are saying, I stand with Black men, getting the avid support that they need if it's not from a plethora of men.
So who are the women that you hanging with? Because I mean, every woman I know stands with Black men. I just hate that. I don't want to. That's like me saying all Black men disrespect Black women and all Black women don't. It's such a bold statement. And maybe the demographic, you're in Dallas, we're in Jersey, is different.
I do feel like the goalpost is always moving for the Black man. Like I could be responsible enough to be willing to put my life on the line to protect you. You'll grant me that, right? But it's questionable if you allow me to lead us in this relationship. So how can I die to prove to you, and then you can trust me, but you can't trust me to lead and, take our relationship to the next level. Yes, I might be learning. Yes, I might not know all the right moves, but if we're already being looked at like we're not the right person, or you guys don't have faith in us, of course, we're more likely to drop the ball because we need the support from our women. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, the goalpost is always moving, whether I could provide it, but yet I could not be funny. So now I'm not a leader. You get what I'm saying? I'm tired of being questioned from the women that I'm committed to, and I'm not, everything it's switching as we go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just find it very interesting that, some women have no problem casting all Black men under this umbrella. Because when black women talk about black men, it's very much, well, black men are, you know, they're not leaders. They have no problem casting all. They don't never say some. I ain't never heard some out of black women's mouth. It's just usually a broad painted brush against all black men. But the minute a black man says anything about a black woman, well, you can't say all. You can't say that's not my friends. That's not my surroundings. And we're simply saying this is our experience, and from our experience, this is what we are hearing. So it's unfair that y'all. I never heard no black woman correct another black woman when she talks about black men. Now, hey, girl, you should say some. It's not all of them. Y'all got no problem. Yeah, girl, you right. Yeah, these niggas.
I tried that and that cussed out. Because
I just really feel like
they pick me all under my videos.
Like super general.
I'm a pick.
I feel like black men are putting black women under this big giant umbrella, and black women are doing the same thing. And I feel like it's unfair. Like
we've been going through, black men been going through this from the beginning of the time. We never had a voice. We wasn't, no matter if we said it or not, we was getting over. Y'all was just turning up the stereo up on us. Like we wasn't getting listened to. You know, y'all had different media outlets, different ways of getting. Now we're vocal, and now I feel like some women. I think the problem is women are being. It's kind of like a spotlight on being accountable, and then they just like trying to dodge it still. You get what I'm saying?
I agree.
When you've been so privileged and, you know, for so long, it's hard to be accountable for something that you've been getting away for so long. You get what I'm saying? If you've been making wrong mistakes, but you've been crowned for it the whole time, and they're like, hey, well, I'm taking your crown. It's hard for you to adjust to that situation.
And even also all the podcasts we have, majority of the podcasts that the men have, there are podcasts tailored to things that men are into, aside from relationships. But my thing is now with them speaking up, you're telling them you want them to be more emotionally intelligent. You're telling them to tell us what you think, tell us how you feel. And now that they have started doing it using the same outlets that you got, that we all have, now it's a problem. Now it's silence them, take it away. Shut up. Why do you want to silence a man that is telling you exactly what it's going to take in order to help rectify the situation? And it is very much so, it's biased, because when we hear like, and I don't think Elena, this is not a dig at you, but even when she said that we have to take care of these babies when the men are gone, it's like there's never no pushback on insinuating there are a plethora of deadbeat dads. But the moment that you say, black women this, black women that, why do we all have to be grouped that way? It becomes very much so hilarious to me, because now it's pointing the finger or trying to divide somebody's life up, and like nobody has to experience these things directly to know what's going on. I protect.
Isn't it a woman's choice to be single and independent as well? I heard you guys mention that. Isn't that a woman's choice?
Yep.
I mean, men are not stopping you from being single and independent.
So they say.
So what are you referring to? Because I mean, I feel like sometimes black women have no choice but to be strong and independent.
That's because y'all living through your mother's trauma, who was probably single and independent.
I agree.
Because rent $1,800. I mean,
I want to know why you feel that black women have to be strong and independent. Because personally, I don't feel like I have to be.
Okay,
fair. Okay, so now, so I mean,
if you're single, who will take care of you? Like, because then that's considered a gold digger. Like, if I was single and I'm dating a plethora of men and I'm expecting a man to take care of me instead of me self-sufficiency is important. Like, if I'm not married and I'm not in a relationship, who is going to take care of me?
Well, you know,
why does being strong and independent equate to being a regular functioning adult?
Okay, let me use my
it doesn't equate to the same thing.
But I think that's what's getting confused, because a lot of times when you have these women who are not in relation and they're successful and they're doing their thing, they're looked at as strong, independent black women. We're just single women taking care of ourselves.
But the difference is,
I don't think people separate.
I don't agree with that.
The difference is y'all preaching about it. Y'all telling everybody about it.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
I mean, you can be single and taking care of yourself and being adult and everything. That's cool. But the minute that you start telling other people, "Oh yeah, I'm single and independent, I don't need you," that's when it's a problem.
Oh well, that's a different story. But
no, it's not. That's the
same. But let me tell you something. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I just think that there's people also look at you and be like, oh, you act like you don't need a man. I just want to take care of myself.
Look at
I feel like that's the energy that people look at you. Like,
hold on, y'all. One at a time.
My career. I want to
y'all give off that energy.
I don't know. Like, I guess I'll just be on that energy.
Yeah, I mean,
let me ask
nice life.
Let me ask you a question real quick. You are you single?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Has anyone ever looked at you and said, you look like you don't need a man?
No.
So where you getting that from?
Because I'm like, damn, do people really think this way? Like, I'm single. I don't put it out there like I don't need a man. I also take care of myself. Like, I pursue my career. I'm not going to stop doing that. Take care of my household. I'm not going to stop doing that.
Okay, but when you lead with that, that's the energy it gives off. When you're leading with, I can take care of myself, I do X, Y, Z. When you lead with that to men, that's how that's coming off. Whether or not, I'm not saying that you're saying, I'm strong, independent. Right. It's just what you lead with. That's what they're interpreting it as. And that's what I interpret it as a woman from you. When I hear you say that,
and I think maybe this conversation just sounds aggressive because we're in this conversation. But if I'm in a conversation with the man and I'm just, I say, okay, we're talking. Someone asks me, what do you do for work? Sometimes I don't even say what I do for work. I work in hospitality. Because if I say what I do in work, it's like, oh, wow, you're the boss. So now you've already created this misconception about who I am based on what I do.
I disagree. I think a lot of times we perpetuate these ideas and we're not listening to men at all. A lot of times we have been so engulfed with dealing with the same type of negativity that we haven't allowed ourselves to evolve into a mature state. So majority of these same colloquialisms comes off as, kind of they're an insult. We already have internalized it. I don't hear men tell me you look like you don't need help. It's just not a thing. I don't carry myself in a way that I don't look like I don't have room for a man. Even with me paying my own bills, even with me driving a nice car, even with me working in the industry that I work in, even now. I am on social media as a very popular content creator, but there is not one page you cannot go to where there are not a slew of men in my comments asking to marry me, asking to date me, asking if I'm single. It's not a thing. We have internalized this mentality, and now it's like we embody the independence. The word you're looking for is interdependence. There is a way to handle your business and be a self-sufficient adult, but also make room for a man to come and pick up your slack, especially when you're talking about that pain and you got a woman sitting there, I'm tired. You don't have to look beat down and worn down because now you look like you're looking for help. Now you look like you're desperate. And when you're bringing desperation in a situation, you're asking for the negative man that you don't want no business dealing with. So it's a way to carry yourself in grace and do just enough to make sure that your life is comfortable and stable, but also make room for somebody to come in and take up your slack that you need the additional assistance with.
Oh, let me get to Sade. We're gonna do our best to not try to talk over. I know that the conversation gets passionate, and I appreciate that because these are conversations that we need to have. But if somebody's talking, let's do our best to just listen to them, and then when they're done speaking, then we can talk over, have our point. Sade, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. So to piggyback of what some of you guys said, the reason I do think there's definitely been an attitude shift, or there has been a shift in the way this whole conversation of women taking care of themselves has been portrayed, is because, first off, Black women have always worked in this country. Okay, we were brought over as a workforce, so there was never a time where we were not working in some capacity. But if you look back, 50, 60, 70 years ago, right, the marriage rate was much higher. Black women were working, but they were going home and they were still creating families, having kids, working with their man, submitting. Now, fast forward, we're still working, but less of us are married. What's the difference? So it's like something has definitely changed. And we can go back and forth as to, okay, was it feminism? I think that certainly played a huge role. Media brainwashing, messaging. There is a trope that we've all, as Black people, men and women, have to deal with. Like, we already have those stereotypes already on top of our trauma. So there's all these different components. But at the end of the day, it's like there has been a shift. I can speak to my situation personally. I can talk about the different advice I got from women that I knew, older Black women, women I knew in my family, and even older Black women I see online saying, look, secure the bag. Don't worry about these men. Don't worry about dating. Focus on yourself. Hot girl summer. Like, this is the kind of information that I got. This is the advice that I got from women that I knew personally. And then I see some of my white friends, totally different, right? It's like, I knew people in high school who were planning to go to college to find a husband. Black culture, that was unheard of. Unheard of. And maybe you guys have different scenarios, but it's like, I've talked to countless upon countless women who they went to college, for example, just to focus on the career. They went to college just to try to, get a better job, as if you can't multitask, as if you can't go to class and also go on a date. You know what I mean?
Sean, I do want to, because I want to get it. I want to get into that. I got a video that I want to react to. We're going to get into that. But Keem, real quick, you want to get to these super chats before we get to this video?
Yeah, we got one from Amber. Shout out to Amber. She said, y'all asked and the Dailyrapupcrew delivered. Let's hit that like button on the way in, caught the merch, and reach out on IG for the events this weekend. We got a lot of shit going on this weekend. So,
appreciate you, Amber. You always keep it real.
We got one from Game Changer. He said, I think, man, let's support more decent wives and mothers. I'm not sure what you meant by that one.
Maybe more. Let's support. Maybe.
Let's support.
Oh, let's support.
Let's support.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking. Okay.
So that's supposed to be there. Let's support more decent wives. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's support. Yeah, definitely. Let's support more.
Chaz been on Wheel of Fortune before. I'm telling you.
We got one from Achilles. He said, shout out to Shez, a gorgeous, mature Black woman who makes good content. We got a Shez fan in the building. We got one from Game Changer. Are women helpmates, or do men pick up slack?
That shit is an hour.
Anybody? Hold on, I ain't want to get into that. All right.
Were we supposed to interject?
I mean, somebody wanted to comment on that. Y'all want to comment on that?
Wait, so the question: are women helpmates? Are we supposed to pick up slack? Yeah, no.
Do men pick up slack?
Or do men pick up slack?
Or do men pick up slack? Well, I think Paradise. I'm sorry, I didn't butcher it. Alluded to this earlier about there being a level of interdependence. So absolutely, there are areas where women, I think, come in and support men and help support the vision of their husband. I'm not saying just some random, pookie that they get knocked up by, and then you know what I mean, like they support the vision of a man that they are committed to. Absolutely, and in that natural progress, men I think are going to love to provide. They're going to love to start to do some of these things that we talk about, protection, provision. That is a natural byproduct of a healthy dynamic between a man and woman.
So, I don't know about it been around men, but men, when they really feel like they got money, they love to give it away. They love to spend it, and they spend a lot more bigger than us. Their idea of spending is furniture, cars. They love to blow. They love to be able to say it's an ego thing for them. I do this, and for me, I've always said that when it comes to relationships, there should be two people coexisting with the same end goal. We may not always agree, but we have the same end goal, because there will be some things that a woman does better. There will be some things that a man does better. At one point in time, women were actually the people who managed money better. It's not a thing today compared to men, but at one point in time we managed money better. So you may have a woman who is better at making the financial decisions and modifying the budget, and you may have a man who's just simply better at hustling, or vice versa. Putting two brains together has always been more productive than one. So whatever that looks like to you in your relationship, you can do it however you want today. You can have a woman she doesn't make any decisions, she's just kept. Or you can have a woman that she allows her husband to go to work, and go home and be the house husband as she goes to work. But if it works for them and it benefits them in a healthy family structure, I support it 100%.
The discrepancy in that is, men are still supposed to be traditional. If I was with a woman and she made more than me, I'm still going to try to, pay most of the bills. Right. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes women that are more successful than their man, they don't have that same traditional value. They're like, well, I make more money. You need to be cooking and cleaning and paying bills. Like, they feel like they have so much wrapped up in their business or careers that they lose their traditional values in the relationship.
Ooh, I want to add to that because I did also want to piggyback off of what she said. I forgot her name. So the way I grew up, everyone in my family was married. So I was taught you get married. I was shown how to be a wife. I was shown how to submit. That's kind of what I teach my daughters. But I also went to college, and I'm also a real estate agent. So I make a lot of money. So when I'm out here, like I was married, I'm divorced, but now I'm in a dating field. So I'm out here dating. So like I said, I don't lead with my career. I don't give off that energy. But when they find out, sometimes I just feel like some guys might be intimidated by that. Because okay, a black woman with money. Oh, I just see how she's going to act. And I'm not saying that's like something that they're thinking, but it's like, subconscious level, because that's what's been taught. When a black woman gets money or power, she acts a certain way.
Exactly. I don't think they're fearful of the amount of money you're making. I think they're fearful of how they're going to be treated in this relationship.
The issues that it's going to lead to.
Because most, I'm not going to, some black women tend to get big-headed with their career success rather than, compromising with a man. They feel like they're, they
don't have to
above the relationship. Yeah.
Right.
So I actually did a show with Mr. Obsidian, shout out to him, a few weeks back, and we got on this topic, and he gave me some numbers. And now you have to go back and check the source, but basically he said, based upon whatever sources he checked, they said it was women who make like at least 30% or more than men. Once that happens, then, the rates of domestic violence within the relationship, infidelity, I think there was like just breakdown in communication. Like there's all these things that start to happen that negatively impact the relationship if the woman makes at least 30% or more. This is something he said one of his followers, I think, went and did the math. I can't say I totally understand it. If you want to look at the methodology, to check with him. But I thought that was a bit intriguing, because even if you think back to the situation with Garbo Union, right, where she had mentioned how she felt justified in cheating.
I thought about that immediately.
I'm like, men don't think like that. If they're making more than a woman, they're like, and she's being semi-submissive, they're like, okay, buy a dress. Like they're paying the bills. Like they're not thinking, oh, I make more, I'm gonna go cheat. Like that's not the ideology. So there's definitely a difference in the way that I think men and women perceive.
Yeah, and they even say the divorce rates among educated women are significantly higher. Like, you know what I mean? So,
significantly higher.
Game Changer said, Paris said that men should pick up a woman's slack. I thought women should be a man's helpmate, not men following women picking up the slack.
When I said that, I wasn't meaning like literally he comes along and he just starts correcting, validating all the bad behaviors. Okay, so some things we take and we harp on them, and they're not meant to be internalized a certain type of way, and that definitely wasn't what I meant. And I think if anybody was listening to the conversation, they knew that.
Anthony got a question for y'all. He said, ladies, what is a good man worth to you?
My womb.
What that mean?
My womb.
Shout out to whoever. Oh yeah, definitely.
That was the answer.
And that's what it is.
Answer, like,
I mean, my womb, my youth.
Okay.
I mean, like the things a good man can bring to a woman is insurmountable. I mean, like if you really think about what a good man entails, he's protective, he's respectful, he communicates well, he adjusts if he makes you upset, he's he takes care of you. My husband is worth my womb. We have a child, so that's just, I mean, what is your womb worth? So that's
I would say my submission. That's what a good man is worth. My submission. That's all.
I don't weaponize submission, but I will say a good man is worth catering to. I will say a good man is worth bragging about, putting on a pedestal. There is something about, for me, a dominant black man, a dominant, outspoken, intimidating black man that I love, because you can't take that and buy it anywhere. Especially when you got one who gonna step behind his girl, step behind his woman. That comfort level, like, I love seeing my man walk into a room. I love it because I already know whatever I was thinking don't even matter. He can think for me.
Yeah, I feel it.
All right, so let me get to this.
We got one more. Toxic Bliss said, "I'm just now catching a live screen. I'll put my lady onto this. Also, Bella, I gotta have. I gotta have that one.
What? My husband has a 5.0. No thanks. My husband has a Mustang, but thank you.
Yo, Toxic always get this Hellcat, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I got a Hellcat,
but how he said I put my lady on?
I see why his name is Toxic.
Yeah, man, he toxic.
Yo, let me get to this.
He said, "Oh hell no, no more." He probably heard you got a husband.
Let me get to this next video so we can dissect this real quick.
Of a group of white girls who are sitting at their graduation engaged, and the question came up, well, why is there not the reality for black women? I know y'all not gonna like what I gotta say, but you know me, I'm gonna say it anyways. First and foremost, black women are above reproach. If it don't validate us or excuse our bad behavior, we don't want to hear it. Instead, we'll say, well, men do it too. Secondly, we'll find every excuse in the world to validate why we don't want to be married or why we don't want to be in a relationship. Well, they get cheated on. Well, they do this. Well, they do that. But then we have all these standards for men, and we're still actively seeking for men in the midst of our hurt while inadvertently telling them to go to therapy. We do not practice what we preach. Thirdly, the independent woman is a myth. Actually cared about being independent and it was something that made you happy, you would not have all these standards to negate your independence. Nobody wants to relinquish power. You'll find every excuse in the world to not be submissive and wonder why white women can get away with their bad behavior. We take everything bad from white women, except for the fact using marriage to our own benefit. But you'll run to the child support office, though. Equality against men, and the only time we actually want to be equal to men is when it comes to degenerate behavior, hypersexuality, abusing or abandoning children. Even when it comes to the gold digger conversation, what you don't see those other women do, even when they are just screwing men for money, is bashing men and inadvertently making men feel like they're not important. Also, too, telling them that they don't need men. Psychologically, we have been taught to disassociate ourselves, and even in that Malcolm X quote where he says the black woman is the most disrespected, he also says to be near your man. Because who taught you to hate the very race that you're supposed to be with?
Yo, Paris, I ain't gonna hold you. You had social media in a frenzy with that one. Like, you know what I mean?
Was Paris? Oh shit!
I want to ask you, like, what kind of backlash did you get from that specific post?
Oh, it was a lot. I'll just tell y'all some of the favorite ones. Why are you comparing us to white women? She hates herself. She's spewing internalized misogynoir. She's Keisha Samuels, Kevin Samuels returned from the dead. Where is your man? Where is your ring? A couple more was she doesn't practice what she preach. And this is not all black women. That is unfair. This one. Well, we should be able to, because there are no good black men. Statistics show that there are no good black men to submit to, and they're not a good pick to choose from. Black women don't want to be married. We don't care. That's not everybody's end goal. So yeah, that was some of the backlash that I got.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I actually want to get everybody else's reaction on that video. What's your thoughts on that? Does the pair have some points in there? Like, what's your initial thoughts when y'all seen that?
I agree with everything she said. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like some of that is the fear. Like black women have a fear, like you said, we don't feel protected. So we're trying to protect ourselves in every aspect of life. So saying, oh, I don't need a man, all they do is cheat, that's fear speaking. We don't want to be hurt. We don't want to be taken advantage of. We already don't feel safe. So that's my opinion on that, real short.
Personal space, man. What's up, man? Like,
I did a reaction video on it. So shout out to you, Paris.
Did you? I would have to check it out. Oh my gosh, it's been.
I did one on my YouTube, and it was basically like, black women don't want to be married, or the reason they can't get married is because they don't want to. And you kind of broke it down. It's like there's different ideas behind it. There's all this ideology. There's all these excuses, but at the end of the day, we don't want to get married. And you know why this whole ain't enough good black men is bull, because at the same token, you're complaining about, okay, there's no good black men, but then now you're also crying about the fact that black men are grabbing their passports and going abroad. If there weren't no good black men, you wouldn't care that those we gonna
definitely get into that. Like, yeah.
Right. You wouldn't care that those leftover men, quote unquote, are going abroad because they're not good anyways. They're your throwaway. So that's why it's like a lot of this stuff I think is a lot of us, we don't know Like we don't know how to be honest with ourselves.
Yep.
Like look in the mirror and sit with the truth of who we are. Sometimes that can be one of the most painful things. And instead of addressing the guilt and the shame that some of us hold so deep in our heart, we'd rather try to deflect and push it off on men or push it off on somebody else versus facing the truth about ourselves.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I did do a thorough dissecting of the video, and I'll be honest, I didn't want women to agree with me. That was not the narrative that I was trying to push. I wanted people to talk. I wanted people to have a conversation. People didn't have the conversation, and when I went to try to go listen to the antagonist of the video, majority of them were ad hominem attacks. It never had anything to do with actually what I said to address the nature of it. It was more so deflect, or we don't like her, or shut up, girl, delete this. You should be embarrassed.
See, I don't think there's an issue of there being a lack of good men. It's just maybe there's no good men who match your requirements, who match your criteria. I think that's where the issue where a lot of women, come in at. Black women want this man to be 6 foot plus tall, want his, what he's carrying on him in his pants to be also 6 inches or longer. They want him to make 6 figures or more. They want him to be able to fly to the moon, build a skyscraper, take care of the kids, always be at home, always make enough money. So he's going to have to be at work. It's just, there are so many expectations that women want of men. And then they turn around and say, there's no good men. No, boo-boo. You need to check your expectations. And also, you also need to check your sexual marketplace value to see if where you are matches the type of man that you want. But that's, I'm going to stop there.
That's that goalpost.
So I do understand. I do feel like oftentimes we do have women have this long list of what he has to have, but I feel like this is so extreme. So pardon me for laughing, but I just feel like it's so extreme. I don't feel like this is like every day, like your regular everyday woman is having this conversation. I feel like it's very extreme. I feel like we have these expectations of what we hold men to. The regular everyday woman is holding herself to those same standards. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yes, I want my man to have A, B, and C, but I also have A, B, and C. Do I want my man to be tall? Yes, I'm 5'9". I don't want to be with somebody that's 5'6". You know what I'm saying? And that's just that's what I like. So just like I like what I like, men like what they like as well. And I don't feel like we should be like looked down upon because I want my man to be 6'5".
Look, I'm gonna tell you compromise, right? Let me tell you one funny thing. Like a man can have a full package, right? And then you like, oh, he's driving a Honda. Then you don't like him anymore. That's okay. It's stupid, but it happens a lot. And look, men will compromise.
Since you were a woman said being a good man is not good enough. She said being a good man is not good enough anymore in a relationship. Like, God damn, like now we got to be Superman. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, and you made this point about things being so extreme. I'm like, aren't the results that we're experiencing in the Black community extreme?
The extreme of things,
right? Like 1 out of 4 Black women are married. Only 1 out of 4. Majority of kids, over 70%, are born in single parent households. Like there's some extreme stuff that we're dealing with within the Black community. And so I know sometimes we can talk in these ways that seem so stifling and they seem so extreme, but that's because this is actually what people are living with. This is what they're dealing with. They're not dealing with, the Bellas of the world being the majority. She would be considered a minority. This is why she gets picked on.
On top of
the
fact that we're talking about men's height is always something that is discussed. Why? I don't know. That's not anything that they can change. Height has never been in correlation to a good, well-to-do man. Never has been, right? But the moment that they say something about Black women hair, shout out to everybody on this panel who's rocking natural styles, braids, dreads, whatever the case may be. The moment that they say they don't like our hair, there's pushback. There's insecurity.
But isn't that a personal preference?
We're not doing
that's something you could change. I think
that's the difference, right? We're asking them for honor, and don't get me wrong. What she said when she talked about the lifestyle, I agree with that to a degree, because I do not understand why there are some men who will fight tooth and nail to come half-ass to a woman. I do not understand why I see men say, why I gotta have money. Money is a requirement. I never got that. But when you're talking about a person is something that they can modify, hair is something that they can be changed. And when you say that, hey, I love you in your natural tresses, because I know me, a lot of times when I'm going out with my puff and I look busted, you can't keep men off of me because they see authenticity. They know what they're getting. But it's like, we'll sit here and we'll talk about all of these genetic factors that they cannot modify. Or don't let weight get brought up. Now we don't let weight poof and nail, call them fat folks, but you can change your weight. He can't change the fact that his daddy and his mama made him 5'10", baby. What you gonna do?
But I think that's a physical preference, and I don't think anyone should be held accountable for how they feel preference-wise. But then when you start going into, you gotta go to what you like. If you have a woman, if a man is looking at a woman, he says, "I want a woman who exists in her natural state. Like, I'm not really into all the weaves and all the makeups." I can't, as a woman, if that's what I'm into, be mad at him because he's not attracted to me because this is what I'm into. If I want to pursue this relationship, then I'm gonna have to make some changes. But that's my choice. I think you got to separate characteristics from personal attraction. Like, there has to be something that makes me look and be like, oh wow. The same with the man to look at me and say, oh wow, like something starts the initial conversation.
Because he's 5'10". That's not a thing. You don't look at him and go, oh, he's ugly because he's 5'10". There are several NFL players who are literally like 5'9" to maybe 6'3". You don't get tired until you hit the NBA.
But you shouldn't be held accountable if that's just your preference to want somebody that's taller.
But I think where the issue stems in
is if it were colorism. If you were talking about a dark-skinned black woman, then
but that's something totally different.
It's not different.
It's not.
Why is that not different?
Because that's a preference.
Because you're saying it's just a preference. That man is just a preference. Like, you're discriminating against height, but you're upset when he's discriminating against like color. Like,
I also think where the issue stems in is that them same women would sit back and say that there are no good men. And your preference is men over 6 feet. And what's the percentage of men over 6 feet?
11% of men are 6 feet or higher.
11%. So there's no good men over. There's no good men over 6 feet. But y'all saying there's no good man. Period. But you get 5'10", 5'11", good man. But you don't want that because you're looking for a man over 6 feet.
I think it's the unrealistic expectations. Like, that's what I feel like.
Look how much
times women have all these
unrealistic because I want to be somebody that's tall.
And you 5'9", so I can understand why you would say you would want a man 6 feet or taller, but it be 5'1", 5'2", talking about he got to be 6'2".
We're both 5'9", so it's like,
I'm 5'2". My boyfriend is 6'5". That didn't happen because I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta have a man that's 6'5". My high school sweetheart is 5'10". So it's like, with me being 5'2", I have a plethora of men who are looking at me like, she's fun size, she's this, she's that. But you guys have to realize, as women that are 5'9" and higher, the average height of a woman is from 4'11" to 5'5". That's the average height of the woman. You're not the actual majority. So I can understand.
Sure.
I got a question asking for that, but it's unrealistic for the masses of women to always want a man over 6 feet, because now we dipping in y'all pool. That ain't fair to y'all.
But I got a question. So if you meet a man and he's not, for the ladies that are 5'9", so if you guys meet a guy, he's 5'6", he's the perfect man, but he's 5'6", would you give him a chance? Because a lot of women, they won't.
I'm not stupid.
Like, they'll meet a good guy.
Stupid. Let me tell you something.
I hear that.
Because my preference is tall. God'll be like, hey girl, look at that 5'5" man over there. That's the man that I said.
But how would he get that to that point if he already got that block on?
I believe her. I don't believe her co-host. She ain't say nothing.
You don't believe
She's not. She ain't say nothing. You didn't say nothing, bro.
Believe her because there's proof in that pudding.
Yo, even in her initial statement, she said, "I'm 5'9". Well, I like being with a nigga that's 5'7". That's what she said. That's what she said.
True. It's very true. However, I definitely have dated men and that were not as tall as me. That were so when I was young, right? I said Kamora Lee Simmons is this tall, Russell Simmons is this tall, and they look cute, and that's what I went with because, again, like Paris said, you know, the short girls get the tall guys, so you know they dipping into my tall man pool. So it's like, all right, fuck it. But my preference is a man that's over 6'2", and I can say in my adult life, the men that I have dated have been to my preference.
I'm not a Why 6'2"? You 5'9".
I'm just saying 6.
It's heels.
I'm not opposed to the preference thing. It's just that when you eliminate a whole section of men,
that's when it becomes a problem.
You have to be prepared to compete for those men because all of the women want that same caliber of men just off of height alone. Not even how he treats you, not even an income, not even how good he is in bed. Y'all just disqualified a whole majority of men off of height only.
89%.
But I feel like in dating, it's a competition anyway, and may the best man or best woman win. That's just how it goes anyway. If you're dating, you're actively dating, right? Nobody has said they're exclusive, and we're all dating. May the best man, woman win.
And can I ask if you're in a relationship? You're in a relationship?
Me?
Yeah.
You know, it's a little something happening.
we ask women, should they fight for a man or whatever the case may, or should they compete for a man? A lot of them saying no, and they should take me because I'm me. Where men understand that women on their list, you got to be 6 feet, you got to make 6 figures, you got to have 6-pack, the 666. But once we ask women like, what are we getting in return if we provide everything on your list? And we still here because I'm me. So we can't even ask that question when we already know you guys have a list already, but we can't have a list or standards.
I think women delusional when they say they would fight for a good man. There's too many women out here complaining about bad men to say that once you get the man that makes you go hard for him, you know he got your back. You gotta fight for that. I don't know, I don't necessarily mean just physical. I mean actually putting in the work.
Putting in the work.
So but I'm from the country, so I get physical if I have to. Please don't take me. I'm just saying, like, I think women be lying. Y'all be real. We be real delusional with that whole. I ain't fight for no man. I ain't compete for no man, baby girl.
Oh, I'm gonna fight for mine.
A man who stepped up and just had your back, and I'm talking about the boy come through. He reliable. He putting it down in every section of life, baby. You're going.
What does competing for a man look like to you?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, first, that's a lot. Staying engaged in conversation. Always being open to hearing your flaws. I'm always being open to correct it. And I do checkups every 3 months or so. I ask, is there something that I can do better? We have very tough conversations. I make it my business to follow up with him and say, I know this bothered you. What can I do better? And I take it. I don't even respond back. I just take it. So that way he feels like he's being heard. I also to keep up with the sexual aspect of it. I know what he's into. I know what he likes. So random news is a common thing. Lingerie, setting the mood, intimacy. I'm competing with women who never had the chance at a 6'5" man with dreads and who got a good job. It's like I have to always remember to never get complacent because I know I got the pick of the litter. And he's not just know anybody. He's very much so a dominant, aggressive, staple figure. So when I'm sitting here looking at him, I'm never taking him for granted, even in arguments. I'm making it known that whatever we're doing, I want you to understand I support your vision for us. And I never question it. And I make it my business to be open and adaptable to any changes that he brings about.
We're gonna get into these super chats real quick. I do appreciate that answer. There's these two topics that I really want Sade and Bella to participate in before they have to leave. So we're gonna get to the super chats real quick, and then we're gonna get straight into those topics. So
yeah, Game Changer said, my let's support super chat. I was saying that we don't care about you protesting our dead. We want submission, youth, and beauty. So I guess that's what he meant. Shout out to Dog 80s Baby with the super chat. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Real and Red says, whomever controls images controls people. With that being said, if we as people put more positivity out, our community, we will get better.
I agree. It's a fact.
Yeah.
We got one from Ninja Person. Said the core generational trauma of Black women, myth of the white womanhood. Unhealed Black women want the status, and white women want rich white women. Healed Black women can work with, respect, admire, and marry their Black men. Salute, Dailyrapupcrew. Shout out to you, Ninja.
Appreciate you, Ninja Person.
You got any more?
Somebody asked, can I cook? And yes, I can cook.
We got one more from Michael shooting a shot. Yo, she married, bro. What's up with you, bro? You leave that one alone.
You gotta respect the marriage, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he like what he hear.
Anthony, you said,
he ain't 6'5", so he can't say nothing else. Shout out to Michael. Where your Timbs, boy? Where your Timbs?
Shout out to Michael, man. Anthony said, can't be mad doesn't mean you won't be mad. Do you love your mama? I don't know what part of the conversation that was in. My fault, Anthony, but yeah, I think that's the last one.
All right, so getting into this next topic, I very much want to talk about Black women and their natural beauty. That's one thing we talk about on this channel, and I've talked to plenty of Black men, is that we are in dire need of seeing Black women embrace their natural beauty. So I know Sade and Bella, I know you guys had a live stream where you guys discussed this as far as just, Black women not wearing their natural hair enough, not, embracing their natural beauty enough. Obviously you got the makeups, the wigs, the weave, the BBLs, the surgery, and in my, like I said this on an episode recently, that I believe that Black women are the prototype. You know what I mean? Black women are beautiful. I love Black women, but it just hurts me that I see our women so much going out to get the BBLs, going out to have all this how much money Black women spend on makeup and wigs and weaves, and you know what I mean? So for my women to be the prototype, I'm just confused as to why you guys are so indulge so much into the cosmetic side of beauty, when I thought it was just supposed to be something that's natural. So why do you think Black women don't embrace their natural beauty enough? And I guess we could start with Sade, and then Bella, and then everybody else could chip in after.
So why don't I think Black women embrace their natural beauty enough? That's a really good question. There are multiple levels to this. If we talk about hair, I broke this down in I think the live you were talking about how there is a history of Black women literally being discriminated against their hair, and not just being bullied, like them being withheld economic opportunities, being discriminated against jobs, education. Like, this isn't made up. Like, there is a history behind that, down to the point where they had to pass the Crown Act just a few years ago. And God knows it takes a while for laws to really even be enacted. So that plays a role. That plays a role in how women see and value their hair. I think about even the things that I saw from the woman of my mom's generation and her generation, and it was all about trying to figure out how to make your hair straight and look white. It was all about getting different weaves or getting things to make it perceive more European. This was the generation they come through, passed down behavior. So I think that, like I said,
the perm was invented to obviously mimic like the white hair of the hair of white women and stuff like that, right? So.
Absolutely. And again, a lot of it was, women could get access to better economic opportunities if their hair was certain ways. Like, so it's like when certain hair is rewarded, like literally down to the fact of you getting better financial opportunities, you may be having a better standard of living, and then other kinds of hair is punished. That's going to do something to you psychologically, right? So you have that already. And I think along with that, it's like the whole idea of self-hate that fosters among women, among Black women in particular. And so I think a lot of us just have that. And then if you look online, if you look on media, which unfortunately a lot of our women are largely influenced by this, if we see the women who are perceived as wealthy, the women who are perceived as having a nice lifestyle, 9 times out of 10, they're having that weaves. Even down to the Black celebrities, they all have that look. They're not wearing their real hair. Yeah. They are wearing different weaves, blonde weaves, brown, maroon. They're getting the BBLs and a lot of these women at the end of the day, I think the comment said it before. It's like they desire that lifestyle, right? They desire that luxurious lifestyle. And some of them really, really do. In my opinion, some of them I think really do have that myth of the white womanhood. They call it Miss Anne syndrome. These are ideas that have been in the Black community for a long time. So you couple that with the actual history of women being discriminated against their hair. And then you have the self-hatred that some of our mothers and aunts and grandmothers taught us as a result of that. And then you go online and you constantly see yourself not being represented among the rich and the famous, and you want that lifestyle as you are struggling in poverty, because 1 out of 3 Black women are in poverty in America. And to me, it just creates this whole fantasy, right? Of this is the life I want to live, right? Versus this is where I'm at, and how do I achieve that? And usually the way to achieve that, based upon the way that it's been perceived and seen, is by you downplaying your Blackness and downplaying who you are. So I hope that makes sense.
That was a lot. I appreciate that. Bella, what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, Sade, that was great. I mean, you basically touched on the things I was going to kind of talk about. But I definitely was going to mention we're talking about, of course, the historical situations, such as, Black women, to include Black men, being scrutinized since what seems like it has been since the beginning of time for our hair, for being able to defy gravity, for it being kinky, for it being curly, it was called, nappy, being called bad, things like that. And so again, as Sade mentioned, when those thoughts, when that school of mind, and when those phrases essentially carry on throughout generations, through bloodline after bloodline, it results to women, a generation or generations, who are insecure and who are fearful. Personally, before I went natural, I was literally afraid to even know what my natural hair texture was. I was relaxed. I kept my hair straightened. I kept it, fried, dyed, and laid to the side. Again, because I thought I loved myself. But as Sade mentioned, I wouldn't say hate myself, but I definitely had some deeply rooted insecurities due to seeing how everyone else's hair was around me. My mother still wears her hair straight until this day. And so if you're constantly seeing women who look like you, and that their hair grows out of their scalp kinky, but they're wearing European hair, you're going to be confused. There's a huge, in my opinion, identity crisis with Black women and our natural beauty. At one point, we understood that our features, because you said natural beauty, so that's not just hair, it's your whole body. Women, Black people have been scrutinized for their skin tones. Black women have been scrutinized for the way we're built, and obviously this is shown through depictions in art, right? Big lips, dark skin, big, large behinds, things like that. We were seen as monkeys. And in my opinion, we've again internalized that generation after generation after generation. And then now we've got toxic social media to add on top of it with, as Sade mentioned, celebrities, wearing wigs, changing their wigs every day, music videos, and all of these things. And then on top of that, men show that they want these women, whether it be, the little emojis or saying that they were hit, things like that. So women take, look at those things and say, okay, he's saying, they're saying this, or they're reacting to these women, or this football player married a woman who look like this, or whatever. And they say, okay, this is how I need to look. When in actuality, if you actually sit down and talk to a man, listen to the man, listen to the Black man. I know I said it 3 times, but listen, ladies, if you actually talk to a Black man and listen to him, he will, as a gentleman have said, Black men prefer our natural hair, our natural tresses, our our crown, not us wearing another woman's crown.
That's a fact.
So what do you, sometimes I have conversations with Black women about their natural hair, and oftentimes it comes down to that they don't want to manage their natural hair. Like, you know what I mean? They wear all these protective styles because they don't want to have to, you know, keep up and manage it. Obviously, it's a process. Yeah. So, you know, we had a show like that with a woman who was like, oh, this is like my helmet, basically, my hat. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to damage my hair. I have it in a protective style. That's why I wear all this, you know, these wigs and weaves or whatever the case is. So what's your thoughts on, you know, Black women just not knowing how to properly take care of their natural hair?
I'm gonna be honest, as a person who do hair, my aunts, and I have three aunts that are beauticians licensed. It's kind of been a thing in my environment, the hair. Me and my cousins do hair. I got a cousin who's a licensed beautician. She owns a shop. A lot of this is very much so being dishonest. Everything about hair, from relaxed to natural to wigs, weaves, braids, it takes time. All of it is time consuming. Mm-hmm. I will give us grace and say, based off of what Bella said and Sade said, it's hard for me to love something I don't know. And I think a lot of times with the natural trend coming up, there was a lot of bullying and minimizing from other Black women trying to force other Black women to go natural because they had jumped on the bandwagon of saying, we're going to our natural tresses and we're not moving as a monolith, and everybody's not understanding while we're heading to a certain direction, it becomes problematic. I will say that a lot of times it takes for a person to do their own unlearning with that. The wigs and the weaves, I wear them. I'm never gonna be dishonest with myself, but a lot of my content now, I've started to push me in my all natural with no makeup, with me wearing my puff, with me just simply being a woman, because we get caught up in the matrix of seeing somebody that does not exist. When I look in the mirror and I get up in the morning, I don't see the glowed up, dolled up Paradise Paris. I don't see her. And I have to be comfortable with not seeing her, which I think that is deeply rooted in the insecurity, down to the modifying the bodies. You contradict yourself when you say you're the blueprint, and then you turn around and alter and rewrite the blueprint. You don't have to do that. And what we did was, instead of us taking what was said negative about us and internalizing those things to make it admirable, we made it sexual. That became the issue. Everything became anything to be in an attraction narrative, whether it was the BBLs, whether it was the breast augmentations, whether it was the hair, the nails, the makeup. All of that became a syndicate to say this is going to attract men. It should have never been something utilized as a weapon to attract men. We should have started doing things, and the basis of it should have been, well, your skin is beautiful because you're a beautiful one. That's what it should have been. It should have never been, you're getting the attention because your skin color. It should have never been, you're getting the attention because your butt is big. You're getting the attention because your waist is small. And when we started to encourage the sexualization, that's when it became problematic, because we were already having a history of being sexualized. And so when it came down to our hair, like Sade was saying, I know, like, even when feminism became a thing, a lot of Black women didn't realize how much this was going to affect us, because we always worked. And so even after Vietnam, even after World War II, when we were in the workforce industry and they began having typing jobs as assistants and things like that, they began having nursing jobs. We were already in those industries. White women came in, they took us out. And then when you wanted to integrate into that industry, especially if you wasn't fair skinned and you was passing too fast the paper brown test, it became, well, she needs to modify her look to fit into us in order to get the job. And that's where we had a lot of the issues. So yes, it's a lot of unlearning. It's a lot of self-hatred. I do think a lot of times we are dishonest with ourselves, but we do owe it to each other to keep building the community and keep speaking life into each other about our hair, our skin, our features, because it makes a difference. And it doesn't have to always be, she a fine ass bitch.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Bars. I think also you hit the nail on the head. And thank you for breaking it down as a beautician. I think I got like my first lace front back when I got married, because I had a particular style. And one of the excuses that I would always hear was like, oh, it's too hard for me to do my own hair. which is like crazy. But that was an excuse. So I got the lace front because I had a particular style. I was going to be in humid air, and I was like, my hair is going to curl up. So that whole process of me having that fake hair, and it was just briefly, it was actually, I was quite surprised like how much work I had to put in that own hair. Like I had to learn the texture and the methods of that particular hair. And I'm just like, at that case, why don't I just do my own hair? And another thing too, it's like, you're not going to hide something that you are proud of. You're just not going to do it, because women, it's in our nature to want to show off. You know what I mean? Like we're feeling ourselves, like we got our makeup on, our hair did, or whatever. Like we want to show off. So it's like, I really call cap with the women who say they have this beautiful, beautiful hair that they are never showing off, because that goes against everything else we do. If that was a case, then Instagram wouldn't be a thing, TikTok wouldn't be a thing. We wouldn't have women constantly.
That's like the ultimate flex, like for a woman, is when she got that long hair, like, you know what I mean? Like,
and that's the whole thing I was talking about. It's like, we're calling ourselves queens, but like literally we got the crown of another woman's hair on our head. Like, what are you telling yourself psychologically? Like, you're crowning yourself with another woman's hair, calling yourself queen. It's like, so again, it goes back to that self-hate that's so deep in, I think, some of us not really knowing how to be honest with ourselves and be like, I can't blame this on Black men, because they've been saying for decades, like, we don't rock with that. So I can't blame it on them. I can't blame it on my mama because I'm a grown up. It's like, but sometimes it's hard to do that. And then because we do have a culture where like wigs and weaves and lace fronts, like there's a culture of that, it's easy for you to hide behind it,
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, man. I know when we talk to the fellas, we joke around, but we always be like, yo, women got the wigs, the weaves, the lashes, the makeup, the BBLs, the waist trainers, the butt pads.
So much.
Some women have so much layers to them.
The list is never ending. Like,
now it's offensive to even ask a woman, are you natural? Like, is your body real? Oh, how dare you ask me that? Like, it's almost offensive now. We're just trying to look for some to be authentic. That's what we value at the end of the day. And, I do give women the benefit of the doubt, because women always say, oh, well, if y'all like natural women, why y'all always liking the Instagram models on the IG, and this is what y'all be liking and whatever on social media. And I will go a step further to say a lot of men are tricking themselves into being naive. Like, I know before I was going on Instagram, I've seen women with these, unrealistic bodies. And in my head, I just wanted to believe that she just had a natural physique to her. Like, you get what I'm saying? I just thought, damn, she really was she did have them gym photos. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I thought she was in the gym really working that shit out. I thought she had good genetics. Now I know that it's a fact. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of men are just naive, and we want to believe that this woman has a natural body, or she worked hard to, have the body that she has. Some men don't care. Like, you get what I'm saying? But I know a lot of men, Black men specifically, that we just want our natural women back,
That's a fact.
Because I always think, like, if a woman has a dog, then she can do her own hair. I always tell people, like, my hair is my pet, because it needs to be fed, it needs air, it needs to rest. You know what I mean? Like, I got to take care of it. There is a whole process that goes into maintaining hair. And I'm like, if you can have a dog, okay, if you can be a dog mom, like, I legitimately think you can maintain your own Black hair. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm tripping.
Do what he want to do, because I'm very lazy when it comes to my hair. But you will find that amongst like women who do hair, even though you have the girls that can't like really do their own hair, a common thing about us is we do the bare minimum when it comes to our hair. Like, so for me, especially with me having 4C hair primarily, my mom is Creole, and they have very fine, beautiful hair, dark skin from, Louisiana. My dad, Choctaw Indian, Black Hawk Indian, and nigga. That's what it is. And so I have very much so majority of my genes with him override hers. And, I really had to learn to love this hair, because I will be very honest. I am the cousin that grew up amongst majority girls, and I'm the one who don't have the hair that everybody else got. I'm the one that has the thick hair that is kinky and coarse, and everybody else has the soft and wavy hair that they got from our mom's side. It was 12 girls. So They got that. I didn't get that. And now for me, it's more so of me having to find a way to admire my beauty. And I'm having to do that off the premise of they can't even relate to what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to say I wear wigs. Like my hair is natural, but I still wear wigs. I bought $800 wigs. I spent thousands of dollars on wigs and lace fronts. So, but I eventually went natural maybe like 10 years ago. When I went natural, it was I didn't know that I had an issue with my natural hair. So when I went natural, I realized, I'm outside. I'm just waiting for somebody to say nappy head, say something about my real hair texture. But, then I learned that was a self-esteem thing. So once I started accepting myself, but then, like I said, I also still wear wigs. I was just blonde 2 days ago, but I have a daughter. She's about to be 11. So one day she came home and she was like, she didn't like her hair. And I'm like, why don't you like your hair? She says, I want hair like yours. And I had like this 40-inch Brazilian weave in. And she's like, I want it like yours. I'm like, well, what's wrong with your hair? She's like, but I want to be like you, mommy. So then it hit me. I'm like, okay, wow. I'm teaching her and showing her that your real hair is not good enough. Like, that's what I'm showing her. So now I'm slowly backing out of the wigs and weaves because I see how it's affecting my daughter. And I don't want her to be feeling like, okay, my hair is not good enough.
Right.
I want to ask you guys.
I would like to have. Oh.
I want to ask you guys a question real quick because, I just heard what you said, Elena. And, okay, so women feel like they're going to get made fun of. Like, that happened, like, when you're, like, I understand when you're, like, growing up and you're, like, elementary school, a young man might, make fun of your hair, but that's just an immature young kid. I want to know, how often has a grown man said, yo, I'm going to make fun of your hair or your head? Like,
plenty of times, call you bald-headed, say you look like a poodle, like... Why is your hair so dry? Like, this is grown men.
This was said to you as a grown woman from a grown man.
It ain't just, go ahead.
No, I said this was said to you as from a grown man and you as a grown woman.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Yes, okay. Grown men, people I work with, family members. I even dated a guy. He told me to go do my hair. So I'm like, I'm saying I'm an adult. He's like, go do your hair. Why your hair ain't done? Go put a weave in. Why you wearing your hair like that? I'm not going anywhere with you looking like that. So it's still a thing. It's still a thing. Yeah. And I can also attribute that to the type of males and people I'm around. I'm not saying that's necessarily everybody, but that's my experience. Those are the type of people I have encountered that have reinforced that thinking that my hair wasn't good enough. And then it's crazy because I have 3C hair. And if you guys know what that is, it's kind of good hair. But it's still hard for me to accept because I never grew up feeling or being taught that my hair is okay.
So as a man, I feel like every hair is good hair. I know they always seem to point out wavy hair as good hair. I feel like your confidence in your head is what makes. That's why like some women are attractive with short hair is because their confidence exude that. You get what I'm saying? So I think women with confidence with their hair. What gets me mad with women in their hair is that I find it unattractive when you wear wigs and you're taking care of that wig more than you're taking care of your own hair. So I think that's the part that disappoints me.
It's wild that Elena said that, and I think she kind of alluded to her being she's not like the common type. She's not the common Black girl that grew up. So with that, I would have to say that I'm not either. There's a word for it that just kind of missed me at this point in time. But I grew up 2-parent household, no outside children. My parents are still together. And so with that being said, it's kind of weird because my mom kept me at a hair appointment every single Thursday. I had a hair appointment. And so my dad, like as I got older, I was hanging around my older cousins. So I'm like, I want me a weave. The weave has always been a part of our culture. My dad, my cousins, why you just don't wear your real hair? When people would see me with my real hair down, especially because I cheered, ponytails were a thing in cheering. So your hair is so long. I remember when I worked at a retail store, my coworker, my manager, she was like, your hair just as long as that weave that you got in. Why you just don't wear your hair? And my experience, and I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that because it's like me and you both are technically considered dark-skinned women, That's just never been my experience in my environment of like anybody that I've been around having the nappiest hair. I've always had people that pride me on my hair. Like they love it. They think it's so beautiful. I ain't never had nobody come up and try to pet me on my head like that. But you know, like, it's always been a thing of encouragement and trying to understand why I don't want to show my hair. Even my brothers rarely compliment me on my hair. But when I take my hair down, why you just want to wear your hair? It's always the question for me because they love it. And that's what kind of encouraged me to start wearing it more because I noticed that you got a problem with yourself. Ain't nobody else stopping you from this. Everybody's supporting this. You got a problem with yourself.
Definitely.
I know personal space. Y'all wanted to say something?
I mean, I feel like your hair is your personal preference. I wear my hair. I've been natural for well over 10, maybe 12 years now. I just got a haircut. Sometimes it's curly, sometimes it's straight. I mean, I just do what's best for me. I like to wear braids. I don't have the patience to sit in the salon I got a lot of hair. I don't have the patience to sit and get my hair braided for 6, 7, 8 hours, but I do like it. I feel like the hair conversation and it's old and tired. That's just how I feel about it. I do, because I feel like Black women, we are the prototype. These other women, they go out and they get everything to look just like us. They get the and they get the braids and they get the BBLs and they get they gotta fill the hips in because they don't have no hips. They get the fat ass because they want a fat ass like our fat ass. You know
don't
what
forget
I'm
the tan skin. They like
they live
in the lips.
They live in
that's
the
my issue. I agree with you 100%. Black women are the prototype. But if y'all are the prototypes, why am I seeing so many videos of women risking their lives to go out and get this surgery? Like, if you guys are the prototype,
let's keep it a buck too. Like, a lot of these women, I'm not saying all of it, but a lot of these women who I think complain about the texturism and the colorism, these be the same women who really want to date out or divest. And that's just like, and
no, I didn't hear that last part.
They want to.
I said these be the same women that want to date out or divest.
Okay.
And y'all are Black men. You love Black women. You like them curls, whether it's 4Z or 1A. Like, you just want a natural. You trying to divest to a high value, upper class white male who grew up around blonde. He may have something to say about your nappy hair. He may have something to say about that 4C. And I know it gets confusing because you go on TikTok and you see all this whole swirler stuff, like that's what's going on. But if you look at the marriage stats and you see that white men primarily are still marrying white women, and then when they do marry out, it's Asian and white Hispanic. So I think a lot of these women are going in and trying to integrate into white culture, into these white spaces, and they're not getting the same love. And they don't know how to deal with it. And so now it becomes Black men's problem, or it becomes a problem in the Black community. And it's like, sis, you're going to be more inclined to find Black people who find you beautiful and find you accepting versus you going into certain cultures that may not be, that are still very much colorist, that still very much have colorism. If it's not in them, it's directly in their culture. Think about like the Indian culture, like Chinese culture. You're trying to integrate into that, you may have some issues with your 4Z hair. And so I think that topic isn't always talked about a lot because Black women are very, very, very open about wanting to date and marry out and swirl, but they're not very honest about how difficult it is to do that, especially with cultures.
You speaking on it, let's just get right into that conversation. I know obviously I baited the title, you know what I mean? But I do want to get into this divesting, passport bros whole situation. And I do have a video that I want to play from both sides, the passport bros and the divestors, and then we're gonna come back. I know we have Jay in the back. He's gonna join the conversation. He's a brother that is pretty familiar with the passport bros. He's living in Colombia, I believe, right now. So he'll give his experience, and then we can kind of just have the conversation. But I do want to play this video. It is pretty lengthy.
So, before you get to the video, let me get to you, super chat. Achilles said, I can't remember exactly, but I think it was on some talk show where they did some research and found that studies show that short men make the best life partners. That's for y'all 6 feet and up people.
God damn it.
We got toxic back out of the gates. And attribute is what I believe all women should strive to keep going. Just because you wear makeup doesn't mean that's you. Fresh face out the shower, someone gonna like you even if you were.
Oh my God.
But not me though.
But not me though. Look at
I fucks with it. If you agree, you're not for me.
DJ Deuce, he said black woman's natural hair is so beautiful.
I agree, man. I definitely agree.
That's a fact. We got one from Real and Rez. He said the more natural she is, the more realistic she is. We gotta stay away from the L's. Lace face, makeup, lace fronts, lashes, leggings.
Lace face? Like, yo, that's like a mask you just put on. Like, you just put on. I mean, shit is a mask.
LLs.
Or
LLCs in that shit.
You gotta stay away from the L. Yo, that's an L, man. L's a loss. You know what I mean? But shout out to Real and Rest. Hard Lesson said it's hard for me to believe women up to the age 40, millennials, are being barred from jobs because of natural hair. I personally believe it's self-hate.
That is actually that's not a real thing. You don't have to believe our experience. I can tell you this now. I get looked at very crazy for going into the office with certain colored hair. And a lot of black men have this idea that we love our bosses. I don't have a great experience when I go into corporate America. And that's where I will say black women are not protected, because even if you're talking about something so simple as desk jobs, you know who infiltrate those as black people? It's always black women and gay black men. And gay black men still get more privilege than us. They will literally overlook any type of discrimination we are facing in the workforce field and not say anything. So yes, people look at you crazy when you walk into the office with red hair. People look at you crazy when you walk into the office with blue hair, pink hair, even if it's braids, even if it's a wig, it doesn't matter. We still get judged, we get critiqued, even down to our clothes. A lot of the office policy wear is because of black women in our attire, but we're good at what we do, so they need our productivity. Please don't dismiss us.
I mean, they just passed the Crown Act in California. It's 2022. Like,
I know what happened.
It's 23 now, but the fact that I worked at a job where a white woman had to point out that our handbook was against black women. In the handbook, it specifically said no braids more than 1 centimeter in diameter. It was in the employee handbook in 2017. So we experienced this. It's real. And it took a white woman to see it like, oh, this is an issue.
A friend of mine just got a actual she's in the process of getting a discrimination lawsuit drawn up. She was off work this past December, and her job, she works in the oil industry, actually sent her over a new memorandum effective January 1st. They gave her 4 days to sign it. And the day she was supposed to sign was the day she was coming back in office. Majority of all of that they had listed, down to the hair policies, were in moderation of her being the only black woman that works in the office. And it's so unfair and that's why I say this is where I will say black women are not protected. When we are speaking to you about our experiences, please don't minimize us. This is the time where you listen and you look for an opportunity to assist us. Because in these particular situations where we do dominate corporate America, we are having this is a real issue. And I do take accountability for it. It's going to take us, like Elena said, like Sade said, like Bella said, to speak life into our little girls and our children and those around us in order to tell them you need to love yourself, but there is a bigger fight than us. These jobs that we're having, they're not having it. So a lot of women are doing the tape-ins. A lot of women are going back to getting relaxers, et cetera, because it makes more sense for the benefit of them to simply get promoted. You may not see it. It is a reality for black women.
That's what Kevin Samuels had even. Oh, sorry, I'll just say real quick. Kevin Samuels had even alluded to this when he was talking about men in corporate, and he was saying it's better for men to have the buzz cut, because if you have locks and dreads as corporate, you're going to be treated differently. Even Dr. Tizon Johnson can talk about this as him being a black man in dreads working in education. So it's certainly isn't something we're just making up, you know.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Obviously, it's not to the extent of black women, but black men should know that as well, because black men with dreads get discriminated against, whether it's from police, whether it's, you know what I'm saying. So
junior high school, like, it's crazy.
What's the next super chat, Kim?
We got one from Gold Panther. He said we have allowed social media to ruin ruined the minds of most of our people. We have been heavily influenced by all of our own. It's sad. And he's showing some love to Bella with the 3 hearts. You know what I mean?
Can I just say one thing? When it comes to the natural hair journey that a lot of people are on, I think that we found certain communities online that have helped us find products that are beneficial to us. So in one regard, social media has become like this safe space for us to say, all right, my hair is like this, my porosity is like this, even educating us on different methods to maintain natural hair. And I think that's something to mention, because for all the bad that social media is, there is some good. There has been some help within those communities.
I agree. It has also been help to the Black beauty product owners, the Black hair care product owners. Shout out to Miele. They just had a huge merger into transitioning. They're no longer Black owned. And that is a product that was very much so just near and dear to Black women, the same way that shea butter shea moisture transition, and losing those 2 staple brands that really, I think, I'm not sure what, I don't remember. I haven't used it in years, but using those 2 staple brands, it really goes to show how much of a detriment it is to us when we have Black women who are making hair products for Black people specifically in all hair types. And it's at a reasonable market price. I won't say it's affordable, because the hair products, the hair care industry can get very expensive when you're trying to fixate it to a certain type of hair or a certain audience. It's easy for people to go buy Suave. It costs $1. It has been since I lived in my mama's house. I ain't did that in over 10 years. But it's very difficult to get something that is not only going to grow your hair, retain length, retain moisture, modify to your environment. It's a lot that goes into that. And I think social media has created a wave where we have been able to correlate with each other and say, hey, this is what works for me, try it. Something so simple as rice water, natural remedies and things like that. It has been very beneficial in us having a conversation with ourselves past the beauty shops, because that's now no longer the safe haven that it used to be.
Got another super chat from Cognitive Discussion. He said, crazy how the ladies are silent when Black men compliment natural hair, insane, not one smile. Okay.
Huh?
I believe they.
That's not. I've been smiling this whole time. The whole time.
Yeah, I gotta smile more for them ladies. They ain't see it. Everybody with a collective smile. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, men, because I do know that the men did compliment our hair. Thank you guys so much for acknowledging that we have beautiful
Love
hair.
it.
And I'm sorry that it was missed in conversation, that we are not more appreciative of it, but we do appreciate that you guys love our natural hair.
Absolutely. I feel like my hair is always, when I meet a man, it's always, my hair is, well, first they ask me if it's real, and then I say yes, it's mine. I grew it from my scalp, and then they compliment me on it. It's, my hair is always a topic starter, whether it's long or short or whatever.
Is that offensive for a man to ask you that? Because some women find, like, they kind of look at it like it's offensive or something, like,
Only if they got a weave in.
I don't feel like it's offensive, because we change our hair so often. It's long one day, it's super short the next day. We got locks, we got braids, we got.
Why does it matter if it's natural or not? I brought it. It's mine. I brought it. Like, we.
I feel like sometimes people are just combative, and that's just really what that boils down to. I feel like
that's exactly what it is.
That's it. People are just.
You can't question a woman. You cannot.
I disagree. I feel like I also think that's a woman who wears weave. She have a weave in her hair, because you got to think about it. We just had a whole conversation about it. Like, it's looked at a certain way. Like, oh, why can't you wear your real hair? Like, it's a stigma attached to that. So if she says yes, then she's going to be ready for that conversation as far as, well, why you can't wear your real hair? What's wrong with your real hair? Why are you trying to be white? Why you want to be a white woman? Like, it's all of that. So of course they're going to be upset.
So I don't feel like it's the question of, oh, is that your hair? I feel like it's the way the question is asked. Like, is that yours?
Right.
That's your hair? You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, is that your hair? It's the way the question's being asked. In life, I feel like it's never what you say, it's always how you say it. So it's like, if you're asking me something because you genuinely want to know, then yeah, it's fine. But if you're asking me something, looking for a specific response, you're looking for me to say like, well, why are you asking me if it's my hair? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I feel like it's never what you say, but always how you say it.
I agree.
I don't think that question is offensive. I just think for the woman who's offended by that question, I think it comes down to she's insecure about her hair. There's no reason, if you have hair and if you take care of it, in my opinion, there's no reason why you should feel some type of way or be offended by someone simply asking, you know, if that's your hair. I just think, again, I just think she's insecure. Maybe she doesn't know how to do it. Maybe it's not the length she wants it to be, not the thickness. I don't know, but I just see that as some sort of insecurity that she has to work through.
I will say that I think that also speaks to the culture, because like in the 90s, like if you were checking like for certain movies and stuff like that, there was this thing about press on nails and wearing weaves, and it just became a part of the discussions in dialogue in scripts. And that used to be a thing where is that your hair? Especially when it was done real good, like and so I think now I think a person has a right to be offended if they feel like in conversation they are being insulted. But I do think that it's kind of so much a part of the culture now where men know, like, even if you do your bust down real good, they know. I've had men say, I've had men that say I can see your lace. I remember one night my boyfriend told me go fix your hair, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, what's wrong with it? But when I went and looked in the mirror, I was like, okay, you're right. It's a little slow. But now it is becoming a part of the thing where it's like they know, and I would definitely question if I should be dating a man who couldn't differentiate in between a wig, or I would definitely be questioning if he fucked me, because it's a disconnect there somewhere.
So we're not. Listen, man.
Now we gotta be.
I think that's a little extreme.
Proficient and we've identifying like.
Stop saying like y'all know when a woman is wearing weave.
I mean, but you still gotta look like. I mean,
y'all also have clip-ins when men can't tell those clip-ins are.
Women are getting elite.
I need some clip-ins. I'm finna get me some of those. The tape-ins.
The makeup and the baby hair.
I'll give y'all that. But if I'm talking about a wig, if I'm talking about a certain type of updo, or even like the lace front wigs, eventually that stuff gonna come off. And you know, if I had hair like this on Tuesday and I turned and I got hair like this on Friday, you know it ain't mine. Stop playing with me.
Yeah, the baby hair is giving butterfly wings. Yeah, I know it ain't.
You know, women goal is
and the big baby hair.
Yeah, the big baby butterfly wings right here. You got the.
Listen. Let's get to the super chat, because I know
you know your goal is to make it not noticeable though. You know what I mean? So I mean,
Sade do gotta leave. So let's just get to these super chats real quick so we get to this next time.
All right, shout out to Weasel. He said if you're reading this, hit the like for free. Want to support? Check the community tab for more info. Shout out to Dailyrapupcrew and the full pen up lady. Shout out to Weasel.
Oh, shout out to Weasel, man.
We got one from Tyrese. He said, shout out to Paradise Paris for telling the truth. Many black men have lost their life protecting black women. All right, we got one from the Tick. We Hispanic men love the chocolate ladies.
Too bad your moms, your fathers, your sisters and brothers don't. When you bring them
wait. Silence, minions. We got one.
They look good.
Hold on. We got one from Big.
English.
We got one from Big Niji. Where that shit go? Oh, okay. That one from Big Niji. Man, we got a shout to Niji. This is Dailyrapupcrew on very Niji. You know what I mean? He said, "What's good, brothers? Can't stay very proud of you guys." And the Dailyrapupcrew, I told you guys on IG, stay on your square.
He the fourth member. Yeah, I just don't know. He really the fourth member. Yeah,
that's the fourth member of Dailyrapupcrew right there. Big
Niji the ghost.
So, all right, so let
me get into that lengthy video.
Sade, you wanna exit make your exit real quick, or?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I do have to head out, but this has been a fun conversation. Keep it coming, and yeah, thank you again.
Appreciate you.
Bye. All right.
I'm definitely gonna come find you. I promise.
Yes.
I love the hair, by the way. Love the hair.
Oh. Thank you. I literally was like rushing here, finished my workout, and I was like, bam, let's go.
I can't tell. Looks
so this is my workout here, y'all. Thank you. Okay.
Bye. Have a good one.
Nice day.
Yeah, so let's get to, like, I know Bella, I know you might have to leave too. So this is, the conversation that we got to get to. So I got a video I'm going to play, a couple of videos I'm going to play. This one is pretty lengthy, but it's kind of going to cover the topics that we're going to get to. And I'm going to bring Jay in, and then we're going to really get to this this conversation, man. So
well, I've been recommending this for a long time, that men in the West, due to a myriad of reasons, should start looking elsewhere. I spoke to a gentleman in Australia about 4 years ago in regards to him. He was a pilot. He had all his house, everything paid, fully like stacked. The man was rich, handsome, and generally, in that top, what you guys call the 10, 20%. Mm-hmm. And he categorically told me that when he is ready to get married, he is going to get married to a lady or a wife where he's going to find them either in Vietnam, Cambodia, Philippines, and a country like that. He's in Australia himself, very wealthy in Australia, but he will not bring his wife to Australia. He will marry her and he will stay with her and build a life in that country, because he knows that if he brings her to Australia, ultimately the feminists in Australia will corrupt her. And thus, she'll be looking for the exit door within a few years, possibly a visa situation. So in order to counteract any of that, he will marry in his 50s, but he will keep her in that country where the laws are much more favorable in the divorce courts to the men.
Talking about how they are sick of women in America and how they're going to get their passports and go overseas and find them a wife. Well, the truth of the matter is, you don't want a wife. You want a slave. And then you call it a marriage. That's not marriage. It's modern day slavery, and I think that it's sick. I think that it's disgusting, and all you're really doing is sifting yourself from the real divine masculines and alpha males.
So a lot of black women DM me and told me to stop talking about black men. They were like, leave our black men alone. They're ours. No one is interested marrying about Filipina. Well, the good news is I'm not here to listen to them, because the good news is a lot of Filipina are interested in marrying black men. That's right. So listen to me, Filipina ladies, okay? Black men are super interested marrying Filipina women. Good black men have a reputation of being romantic, seductive, caring, loving, and sweet. That's right. That's how black men are to their women.
They're leaving here to go to Latin America to be with a Latin woman, and it's almost like implying to women here that you're not doing your job good enough, so I'm going to go to South America to find it there. And I think that's where it really starts pissing women off. People do things for a reason, and his reason is, I don't feel like I'm getting what I need here. Now, women will argue that it's because, no, you can't handle a woman here, or you can't handle being with, what is it, like a boss lady, or whatever people are calling themselves nowadays. You can't handle that. You should learn how to be more of a man, to be with a woman like myself, right? That's what women will say. But at the end of the day, men are leaving because they feel lack. They feel like they're not getting that. What do not Latin women have that American women don't have, but what are they doing that we're not doing? And then that whole thing is like, well, Latin women have no problem catering to you, or, being really sweet to you, or saying, mi amor, ¿qué necesitas? Like things like that, like being really sweet to you. Whereas here, that's kind of been dying out. It's been fizzling out.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty lengthy, but I just wanted to make a little compilation just of, obviously we have this whole passport bro movement, and we're going to get to the divested section. Because that's his own type of thing. But what are your initial thoughts on this whole passport bros movement?
To be fair, I think it's a movement on both sides. I watch 90 Day Fiance sometimes, and I think that women are going abroad, men are going abroad, people are going abroad.
You think genuinely people are looking at American women in the same value? Like, I don't know that too many people like, yo, I got to go get me an American one, unless they're trying to get a visa. But if y'all can't find a man that's making six figures in America, y'all going outside of America? Where y'all getting those men at? Like, that's what I'm confused.
I mean, some women really are out here genuinely applying for K-1 visas. They're not looking for the financial aspect. They're looking for the love and companionship, and they feel like they got to go abroad to get that. It's a whole storyline behind it. It's a thing.
So y'all can look for love and companionship. Now money don't make it. Now money is not an issue.
I'm just saying, I think it's happening. I think it's happening on both sides. I think men are going abroad and women are going abroad for whatever they're looking for. They're finding it abroad because they feel like they can't find it here.
Can I ask you, do you think women are lowering their standards when they go abroad?
I don't know.
They have to be.
I think they are.
They going abroad go international men.
What are their standards? Like, if somebody's genuinely just looking for companionship, maybe they may not be the textbook standard of beauty in America, but in Africa, a heavy plus size woman is considered affluent. So they might feel like they're the shit over there. I don't know. I think if you're looking for what you're looking for, you got to go find it where you find it. It's happening on both sides.
I feel like it's two sides to this whole passport, bros. I feel like there's genuinely men out here that are going overseas for wives. Those are the men that doesn't fit that mold. They're not 6 foot. They don't have that high power job. So no woman wants them. So they're going overseas. But then I see a lot of men who are like, well, like for instance, I seen a video on TikTok. There's a guy, it's a group of BBWs. They're dancing. They're dressed up beautiful. And he holds up, go get your passports, because this is all American women are. So, and I feel like there's that side that just they don't like women, like they're disrespectful. So I think it's two different type of males that are going overseas. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with men, women, whoever going overseas. They feel like that's going to make them happy. They're going to find a love of their life. But I feel like some of them are going about it the wrong way and for the wrong reasons. And I feel like they don't ever have to bring down other women who don't fit their molds just to say, hey, I want to go over there. If that makes sense.
I ain't gonna hold you. I've been having this conversation for like the last week. And I feel like in this particular situation, this is a case of Black women not minding their business. Because if these are men that you're saying you don't want, if these are men that you're saying are not protecting you, if these are men that you're saying are not fit for your preference, why do you care that other women are wanting them? We can't be advocates for the BBC gate guard when we get ready. That don't even make sense, because it literally is a contradiction. So for the passport bros, I think it is, for some men, I think it is disingenuous to have the wrong men in the front of the conversation to push the narrative that you're only going over there for sex tourism. I think it's disingenuous that a lot of the passport bros don't get in front of the narrative of the men who are only pushing the rhetoric that they're going to get pleasurable women, because we know that, you know, Black men are desired regardless. You're the most desired demographic. So trying to keep this PG-13, and I've seen it. So when you tell me that the reason why you are going to date out is not to find a suitable partner, but more so to just sleep with other women, and that's your premise of it, then I get to looking at you crazy, because that's borderline predatory. But if you genuinely feel like you're not getting the respect that you owe, you're not getting appreciated, you're not getting valued, I can't fight the good fight for every man. I'm not available for every man. So I can't make you sit here and stay in America. But I will say, and I'm going to be very fair, I think it's kind of weird if you got to go abroad and you can't find a woman in 50 states of the US of A.
50. Don't forget about DC too, the little territory, you know. Don't forget about
there's also the Virgin Islands.
All of that. You got to go real far to go find a woman. I just feel like you go look for what you want. That's how I feel. If that's what you want and I'm not for you, that's totally fine. I'm not for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So I can't concern myself with John, Kareem, whomever going to Vietnam to go find a wife. I hope you find what you are looking for.
And also too, to pursue a woman in a lot of these countries is cheaper.
Not true. That's not true.
But I will say, no, it's not true to pursue a woman in other countries to be cheaper.
You go to Colombia with $100. It ain't the same $100 in the United States.
Okay, I get what you're saying when you're talking about currency, right?
Yes.
But there is not a woman on earth who don't require financial stability unless she's just a poor hooker.
But if it's cheaper to live and it's cheaper to sustain yourself somewhere else, it is easier to go into a different go into a third world country. In the Philippines, the US dollar holds so much weight.
I can understand that point of view. I think that's where I got.
I'm not saying she's a hooker and she doesn't require a life of luxury. What I'm saying is that life of luxury compared to the US dollar, it holds more weight in that area.
I will also say too, I heard a lot of people say two different things. Trying to make the passport bros the point of contention for this is where it goes to show that there's African American Black men here in the US of A, because this is nothing no different than Nigerians have been doing for quite some time. They've been coming over here marrying Black women to get a green card. Nobody said nothing about it. Nobody jumped in the way when they were scamming, messing up Black women credit. Nobody said nothing about it. But all of a sudden now these men have decided to outsource and expand their horizons to go get other women. Now it's an uproar. I can literally care less. And then I think that a lot of people I've heard compare, like, what do women do on girls' trips? Let me be honest with you. The idea of a girls' trip, the last thing we were thinking about was having sex with a stranger. Does it happen? Yes. But that was not the actual point of the trip. It was a girls' trip for a reason. Yes, women are doing wild things. Yes, women are doing wrong things on girls' trips. But no woman is taking a girl's trip to solely say, we finna go get butt booty naked and sleep with a plethora of men. That's not happening. So that's where I think it's very disingenuous when it comes to the passport bros, because you got men who are fighting for their right to prove to us that other women are going to sleep with them. Baby, I don't care. I'm not doing it.
So let me get Jay up in here real quick. And Bella, I do want your thoughts on this a little bit later too. But Jay, you are somebody, can you just introduce yourself and your whole situation and what's your thoughts on this whole passport bro situation?
Hi to everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Jay. I'm retired. I live in Colombia. I'm remarried in Colombia. I wanted to speak because of a show you had recently with some ladies on the couch and they were talking about passport bros. And I was just screaming like, these people don't know what they're talking about. And so I want to talk about the term passport bros and tell you how I think we got here, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay, so I moved to Colombia at the end of 2019. And you know, it's not a lot of it's a lot of TV here, but not a lot that I can understand. So I started subscribing to a lot of YouTube channels. And I mean all the Black travel channels. And also I discovered Kevin Samuels. So I was following the YouTube, Black YouTube travelers and Kevin Samuels at the same time. It was entertaining. And then I also joined like some private Facebook groups. It was all about Black men that travel. And so it was people who were traveling for business, people who were traveling for pleasure, cultural stuff, partying, ladies, all in the same group. And we weren't making fun of people who wanted to travel just to meet women, and they weren't making fun of us brothers who was just traveling for experiences. We were all in the same group. Mm-hmm. And then over the last year, that there was some kind of battle with brothers that travel and the dating coaches, and you started hearing this term "passport bros" in a derogatory way. And so a lot of us in the travel community was like, man, this is going to be crazy because they're going to try to find some bad incident and lump us all into this thing that they're calling passport bros. And that's what I think just happened with Auston. You know, he made a mistake, he apologized, but now everyone is saying, see, look what those passport bros are doing. They're only going there for this and that. I've lived in Colombia for 4 years. I'm retired. I started working early. I'm much older than I look. I'm 55. So I'm remarried. I'm a DJ here. I have a nice life. I have health insurance, all the good stuff. You know, we do cultural things. And it's when brothers are traveling, it's not all about women. when you move abroad and you're relaxed, like there's a lot of digital nomads here too, from all over the world, not just Black. You're gonna meet women. You don't have to. You don't really have to go for the working girls if you don't want to. And so the term passport bros, I think, was initially a derogatory term labeled to all Black men that travel, but they don't know that the Black men that were traveling weren't just doing that. And so I needed to speak because some woman was on the show and she was like, all passport bros do is get women who are uneducated and don't speak. It's ridiculous. I have a niece here who she graduated from high school at 16. She has the 7th highest college score, aptitude score in the country of Colombia. So these women are not uneducated. Of course, there are some because some come from Venezuela as well. And but I just wanted to give that perspective. Not everyone here is, and I don't even want to move back to the United States. This is my home now.
Jay,
so that's my perspective.
Because a lot of people just assume that the women are more willing. I guess everybody just thinks about sex when it comes to going out there. You either getting more sex or sex from different women, but what other qualities do you see in the women out there? That
I don't think that. I don't think that's fair to say either. Like,
from a women perspective, I mean, of course
you say women, but when I hear men speak about this, I hear about.
I'm not talking about. I'm just saying in general. When they reply, they like, oh, they just want to go out there to fuck these women. That's
no. Can I speak to that a little?
Yeah, let me answer the question.
One thing I noticed moving here, and it's the truth. It's not a fabrication, but in my travels, because I go to nearby coffee shops and I travel, not all the time with my wife, and I meet people, and a lot of the women here are friendly and nice. And I hate to say this, but you're just not used to that on a daily basis of people who you're not trying to get with. They're just like that.
Yep.
And I was lost in a tourist area, really populated tourist area here in Colombia. I mean in Medellin, and I asked for help. And this lady who was working in a dentist's office and her elderly friend, they walked me to the place I needed to go to, and it was like 2 blocks away. And I mean that's just one example, but I get that all the time, and it's not like. They know initially that I'm American because there's a lot of Black people in Colombia.
It is.
You know what I mean? And so that's just my perspective of how I feel. And like my wife and her sister, they were both working. And when the pandemic started, they both lost their job. But my wife is married to me, and my sister-in-law is married to a Colombian man as well. And they both knew how to be at-home wives like that. They transitioned in it and didn't even skip a beat. And I appreciate that because I didn't have that in my former life. Me and my ex-wife and our whole family was working all the time. Nobody was in the house at the same time to have dinner because the States is about you got to work, you got to make your money. And we were always busy. So here I'm more relaxed and I feel like I have a better life.
Jay, I did want to speak to 2 things that you said. The first thing is when we as Black women in our culture here in America, when we look at you guys go out the country, one of the things that is said is the only reason why you guys want to go is to have sex, or minimizing those women like they're slaves, minimizing those women like they're uneducated, minimizing those women like we're better than them because we do have all of these other essential allocated freedoms. But in the same token, we want the comfortability of being taken care of like those women and simply relaxing like those women. And I think it's unfair when we do that because when those women do speak back and they clap back and they do insult us, now it's an issue for us. Even one of the Philippine women, one of the women in that video who was welcoming Black men, she did reference Black women as being hyenas. but nobody talked about the fact that there were so many Black women coming on her page in her comments, insulting her and cursing her out and calling her out of her name. The second thing that you said is being nice. And I have found that Black women being nice is so conditional to me. It is so, we are very rude to you guys. And it's almost as if that every time somebody, and this is not for every woman, but I'm just talking about cultural sense, on average, what I have noticed. I have found that every time someone is even trying to make a reference of, hey, how you doing? Or simply being confused or asking a question, it's a snapback like, he want me, so I gotta turn him down. He want me, so I don't want you. You know, it's always that type of rapport. And then that's where I have the disconnect, because nobody makes you be mean. Nobody makes you be rude. Nobody makes you be assertive. Nobody takes you out your feminine. That's a choice.
May I interject here? Because I've got a baby and a husband, I've got to go. So I think the center of the Black women's response to passport bros in terms of the negative responses is rooted in shame. These women are shamed that, what did Jay said? He said, these women know how to, I was taking notes. These women know how to be wives. Women these days don't know how to be wives. Men are looking for wives. Men, yes, men do hook up, but these men, passport bros, in some cases, as Jay mentioned, are looking for wives. And Black women don't fit the bill because we're masculine. We're mean. We don't smile. We don't want to cook unless he's going to do something. We don't want to we're in sexless and loveless marriages and relationships. So my thing is, Black women have shamed men, have shamed Black men for wanting to go overseas. But keep in mind, it's not just Black women in America. There are Black women everywhere. She may speak Spanish, but she's still Black. And so I just think, again, it's rooted in shame. And as Precious said, your women who are saying, okay, yeah, go ahead, you know, you just want a slave, you want an uneducated woman. That means you're minimizing other women when really you want to obtain what he has. But again, we've got feminism swirling around the country. And I wanted to say this earlier, but I didn't get a chance to. I think there's two different feminisms. There's the white woman's feminism, and then there's the Black woman's feminism. Now, of course, the white woman's feminism, we know what it's rooted in, you know, wanting equal situations across the board and work and all these things. Black feminism is Black women saying that Black men don't know how to lead, Black men are uneducated, Black men are too short, Black men are not this, they don't do that, they're lazy, they're this and that. And so I think that when these women are allowing the feminism culture to poison the Black community, and then it's constantly perpetuated within the home, and of course spoken on in the media, and then we've got a continuous cycle of men continue to go overseas because they're seeing the responses that Black women have to them. I mean, ladies, how are you saying you want this man, but you're constantly beating him? You're constantly manipulating him. You're constantly emasculating him. That woman in that video said, Black men are loving, are seductive, and are sweet. Black women don't even appreciate those aspects in our men.
I can't remember the last time I heard a Black woman say that about a Black man. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, you know what I mean?
It's ridiculous. Like, as it's been mentioned, Black women speak so much hate and disdain against Black men who go overseas to look for love and to create a family, but you're not even willing. But you're creating broken families by becoming baby mamas. But then you beating down on passport bros and your baby daddy. It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Jay.
I want to tell everybody that my reason for coming here was because I was retiring, and I used to, even though I had a 30-year IT career, I used to own a coffee shop for 5 years. And so I was already going to countries that had a diaspora of Black people, Black and brown people, art, and a coffee culture. So I went to Costa Rica to a coffee farm. I went to Cuba twice because I love Cuba. Cuba has a coffee culture, even though they don't grow a lot of beans. And then I came to Colombia to a coffee farm, and then all the other stuff. So I came here, wasn't even looking for a wife because I was recently separated and getting divorced the year prior to that. So I was coming here to relax because I was working a lot. And it's so easy to meet somebody if you're a clean Black man with money, and you know what I mean, you're not coming down here getting high or doing all kinds of crazy stuff. It's easy to meet somebody. So you don't even have to go to another country or go overseas to look for a woman. You just have to be yourself if you're clean, and you'll meet somebody. It's not like you have to go and search for them. They'll find you because Medellin has 2.5 million people. So I just wanted to mention that.
And Jay, man, we appreciate you for giving your experience, man. We definitely gonna have to chop it up again, but again, appreciate you for hopping on this live stream with us and sharing your experience.
Appreciate you, Jay.
Jay, did you open your coffee shop?
I'm from Baltimore. My coffee shop was open July 2013 till June 2018. So
in Colombia?
No, in Baltimore, downtown.
Oh, did you open one down there?
Yeah.
No, I'm retired. I don't want to do
anything to do with that.
I just want to do my passion, which is play music. And I DJ here more in the last year than I did in the last 7 years in the States.
That's cool.
And so it's my passion, and now they're paying me. So I got another stream of income that I even considered that was going to be coming in.
Okay.
All to you, Jay.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, so I know Bella, you got to get up out of here. I do want to get to, I want you to listen to this last video that I got before you leave, because I want to get to the divestors. So obviously I'm pretty sure y'all familiar with the divestment movement that's going on with Black women.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
Unfortunately.
Okay, all right. Well, this is what we're seeing as the opposite of the passport bros, right? We do, clearly the passport bros, and it's not just Black men. We just showed a white man from Australia telling his, friends the same thing. But usually divestors are usually Black women now are frustrated with the quality of Black men. So they are mainly looking for white men to date. But it's usually just pretty much anybody non-Black. But I want to share this clip and get y'all thoughts on that.
Mine is a wonderful guy. I can just tell you, ladies, I'm so happy that we love in white men, because they are the most sweetest, wonderful men, caring, loving, patient, honorable, wonderful guys. And you know what's so sad? Our mothers should have left the Black men a long time ago. If they would have left them a long time ago, we wouldn't have all these problems.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, though. I get what you're saying, but let's just focus on, white man appreciation. I just really don't want to hear about. Please, let's just talk about the white guys, please, y'all.
I
Let's
just want to give a shout out to my wonderful white father, who's
I met a nerdy guy. He's really sweet. We're both ambitious and educated. That's exactly the type of guy I wanted. And it's just like, there's no turning back, because these dusties are dusty. They just belong in a coffin.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bianca. Who was next in the queue?
So again, I wanted to talk about divestors. Divestors sound a bit extreme to me, you know what I mean? And nobody seems to be calling them out. I mean,
I do. They hate me. Parents belong. Can't stand me.
Yeah, but when you have people in the divestment community speaking about the genocide of Black male babies and still allowed to have a platform, but when Black men are simply expressing their frustrations with Black, they want to deplatform us. But Cynthia G has a large following on YouTube, and this is the type of narrative she constantly spews. As you can see, that was a Clubhouse conversation where she said Black men basically deserve to be in the coffins that were dusty. Our mom should have left the Black men alone. So we can hear this extreme because if a black man ever uttered those type of words, he will be under the jail right now. Let a black man ever say anything out his mouth like we wish for the genocide of black female babies, that'll be outrageous. He would never be able to survive. He'd be canceled all over the world. So why is this type of rhetoric just easily swept under the rug? Oh, they just must be frustrated, or they're just upset with they just have some internal trauma. Why is that not taken as seriously? But if a black man expresses his frustrations with the quality of women that he's receiving, is so much uproar. Like, what are y'all thoughts on that?
I'll let the other women speak before I give my opinion, because I've had several run-ins with a few of these ladies.
Elena, what's your thoughts on that situation?
Wow. Well, that's really my first time even, like, I come across something like that, but not to that extreme. I just feel like it's like white supremacy. That's what I feel like it is. Yeah. I feel like even since slavery, white men, they love black women. That's why you got light-skinned slaves. Their whole goal is to get rid of the black man. Even in Hispanic communities, to better the race. Have you all heard of that? Where to better the race, that's why they say they're not black or whatever. So in Hispanic communities, you're taught, well, marry a white man, get pregnant by a white man, lighter the skin tone, because they want to get rid of the blackness. But I don't know. I cannot wrap my head around that at all. Like, I don't even know. And I still think it goes back to hurt women. Black women are hurt. And for whatever reason, black women feel in our culture, it's okay for black women to just destroy black men. But yet let a black man do it. And like you said, he's canceled. I'm just the whole situation.
So I didn't even know the whole terminology divestors, but this kind of reminds, I grew up in Southern California. I was born in Jersey. I lived in California for a few years. And when I moved out there, I was surprised to see that black people didn't know about black people. So what would happen is you would have these girls at school. There was a girl in particular, and she would go get foundation that was like 3 shades lighter than herself. And I'm like, but I'm from Jersey. I'm used to seeing people that look like me. Right. And I think what's happening, and I can't speak on Southern California as a whole. I can speak on the community I grew up in. They didn't want to be black. They wanted to be everything but black because they didn't understand the beauty behind being black. And this is before social media. This is before you can educate yourself on the history of black people. There was no black education in the history classes. So I could see this being like, I could see these are the same girls I went to high school with that grew up and went ahead, found themselves a white man that have bleached their skins, that have decided to take on this identity. I'm shocked. I'm not surprised though. It's a thing. It is a thing. It's like, I'm blessed to have lived on both sides of the country. I'm blessed to have grown up in a school where I wasn't the only black girl. But there are people who don't see themselves every day. They see things that they feel like they need to be. They feel less than. It goes back to the hair conversation we just had. Unfortunately, they have a platform now. They've been around. It's just you have a platform now. It's in our face, but it's been here. It's like there was 10 of us in a school of thousands of kids. Like, I'm at a loss.
Bella, what's your thoughts before you get up out of here?
I've got a lot of kind of like, it's like my brain's like a spider web right now. So for one, black women, so white men and white women obviously have benefited from white supremacy, right? Obviously. And then black women have been allowed to ride the coattail of white supremacy as long as it cuts the feet of black men. And then of course we know black men don't benefit from white supremacy. So I think that's one thing, because I mean, that's what I kind of see Cynthia G as, is she's a black female, but she's essentially a white supremacist. If you're saying that black men and black babies should be deleted, then you subscribe to white supremacy in this case. And it's interesting because I know she's not biracial. So it's like, so you're saying your father should have been, exterminated. Your cousin should have been exterminated. It's all rooted in self-hate. There was a young lady who called in on the show that I was with on Sade with, and she was like, Black men are basically the scum of the earth. That's why I'm going to only procreate with white men. I'm only going to have children with white men because I don't want my children to have black features. And basically, it comes down to self-hate. It's clear that she and women like her, such as Cynthia G, have some type of trauma and demons and spirits that are unaddressed. Maybe they were victimized. Maybe they were raised by someone who instilled self-hate in them in different ways. Maybe they were going through extreme colorism, situations. You just never know. But if you're a black woman who's supposed to be, let me back up. If you're a woman, in my opinion, you should have those natural feminine characteristics, such as wanting to be nurturing. And if you're saying that your own people, your men, the men who basically give us children, yeah, we carry the children, but he's the reason why we have children. If you're saying that, that just means I honestly just lost my train of thought. But my point is, if you're a divestor and you talk and you speak down on black men, at the end of the day, you hate yourself. No matter how well you speak, how many wigs you wear, no matter how many degrees you have, there is unaddressed self-hate if you're constantly speaking against your own people. And that will be and is a part of the ruining and the destruction of the black community, because there are so many black women who co-sign messages like that. And then they're wondering why there aren't any good men. Then you're talking about passport bros. This is all in a huge circle, and it's just a mess. And if we continue on this cycle, there is not going to be a black community. There's not going to be black families. There's not going to be a black community. And I mean, in so many ways, the culture that black people do have, whether it's good or bad, it's just going to just totally be obliterated due to the choices that we are making, specifically as black women.
I want to go ahead and preface this by saying I'm familiar with both Paris Milan and Cynthia G. A time or two, one of those women have come across my desk more than once. I've been in circles of hatred from divestors. It's a common thing. Me and those women don't get along. They know I don't ill with them, and I make no mistakes to not ever be shy about it. I find it to be comical anytime we're saying we don't move like a monolith, or we're not monolithic, but everything we do is in nature of a marching band, because mentalities like this, it's praised, people laugh about it, they validate it. Calling for the eradication of black men or black boys or black babies. These women have said things like, if you are with child with a black known boy, a black man, abort. These women have said, if your child gets to a certain age and he begins to get bigger than you and you can't control him, it's okay if he gets unalived by the police. These women have said they have no respect for their fathers. They have no respect for any black men. And the mentality is so detrimental to us as a whole, because now we're looking at the expansion of it, the umbrella to the whole thing with the I don't need a man. Black men are not worth XYZ. They're not worthy of dating. They're not living up to or measuring up to a certain standard. They're not worth submitting to. They're not leaders. All of this is an umbrella mentality. It falls under the same guise, and it becomes extremely dangerous. And that's why I don't have an issue when people disagree with what I'm saying, because I find those to be the weakest links. Anytime I'm saying something for black men and you can find a reason to disagree, those are the women black men need to be looking out for. So with these type of women, I find it harmful to not call them out. I find it harmful to not make them afraid to say this negative rhetoric, because these are the women who will gaslight you and say protect black women. But these are the very women who will turn their back if it was a knee on your man's neck. That's something we got to be careful about.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know. It's a lot. It's obviously a lot to dissect there. But it is getting late. I do want to say this real quick before we just get up out of here. I'm very much an advocate for the Black family, Black love, the nuclear family. I'm never going to give up on Black women. I will hope that Black women never give up on me.
Never.
And we honestly need each other. I know these conversations can be a little bit uncomfortable and it can be difficult to have, you know what I mean? Because you have to hear both sides and you have to look in the mirror and then both of us have to take accountability. So that can be hard, especially when none of us have really never been taught how to take accountability. But I think these conversations are good. These panels are good to have, to listen to each other, get each other's perspective, hear each other out, and ultimately come to some type of solution, hopefully. You know, that's what these conversations is for, to hear each other and try to figure out a solution where we could just, make each other better and the community better and get back to that nuclear family, because the Black man and the Black woman is needed. These single parent households clearly is not working. There's enough evidence to show that our young boys and young women it's not benefiting us to be in these single family households. So we just got to go do better, man. And again, I want to appreciate y'all for pulling up on the panel and having this conversation with us. And again, let them know where they can follow you at, or your social medias or your podcast.
Before we get to the outro, we got some super chats saying.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get to that at the end. You know what I mean?
Oh, at the end, after you tell everybody to go home and shit.
Yeah, after the ladies just say what they're gonna say, then we get to the super chats and then we get out.
I mean,
Paris, we can start. We're gonna get to the super chats. They ain't going nowhere. Like Paris, we can start with you.
You guys can follow my YouTube channel, Just Landed in Paris. I do post here often. You also can follow me on TikTok at _Paradise Paris _ in the front. My Twitter is back _Paradise Paris 1. Also, Instagram is Paradise Paris. Facebook is Paradise Paris. Be sure to come find me. I promise you, if you don't, you still gonna see me everywhere all year.
Definitely.
Shout out to you.
Appreciate you, Paris.
Yes.
Personal, I guess we go personal space. Let's go to
All right. So we are at the Personal Space Podcast on Instagram, actually on all platforms, but mainly on Instagram. And I am at Renessa Rose, and it's RANESSA ROZAYYY.
And I am at _amazing is spelled AMAZEING. And I want to stay on for the super chat because somebody wanted all the smoke with the person. And I'm sticking around just for that because I'm with it.
What's up?
Okay. All right. Later.
Okay, you can find me at Elena J on TikTok and Instagram. And then on Facebook, you can find me under Elena Savage. And then also be on the lookout for my book, How I Was Once.
Where that came from?
Let me see that. Put that in the mix.
Put that back up. Break closer. Okay. All right.
Off the rag.
I'm being honest. I used to hate Black men. I was an angry Black woman. I actually got therapy. So it's about my life and my journey as becoming a woman that I am now today.
Well, that book is out now.
Look, no, I said coming soon.
Soon. When it is, you send that link for us so we can post it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to read that. I need to know why you hate Black men, man. What's up?
I love Black men.
And I want to know how you got out of that funk. So, you know what I mean?
A lot of work.
All right. Shout out to you, bro. All right, so I guess we're gonna get to these.
Get to them. Oh, and for the record, I grew up in Southern California in Escondido, not San Diego, not LA. That's densely populated with Black people. But there are parts of California where Black people exist, like not in a majority.
Riverside, I'm from Riverside, so
You said SMD? That's what you said?
Escondido.
Escondido.
Oh, okay.
It's off the 15.
Yo, Prime VA said 90 Day Fiance is a scripted TV show. Laugh my ass off. Not a good source.
That's not. Let me tell you something. I know some 90 Day Fiance in real life. In real life, but okay. I get it.
I believe this is the smoke you wanted right here.
This is the smoke. If you're gonna be
the average bro,
personal space. If you're gonna be disingenuous, please leave.
Genuine. Listen, I listen to people's perspective. I think the beauty about life is allowing people, hearing them out, filtering what you need to receive from that conversation, and leaving the rest on the table. Disingenuous how?
Yeah, we appreciate the super chat, but man, let's be respectful, man. And nobody dictate what we do with our platform, man. If they want to be here, they're gonna be here, man. So we appreciate the super chat, but just be respectful of the guests, man.
Indeed.
I'm not offended though.
At all.
Clearly, I wanted to stay for that one. Yo, B Footballer said women be out in the Caribbean getting their cheeks clapped and finding love overseas since the 80s, especially divorced or wealthy women.
Never got my cheeks clapped in the Caribbean.
Listen,
I want something.
They cheeks clapped in America.
They be going on those stick trips with the man.
Rubbing the mud on their body and shit.
I need a lot of male close friends, okay? I've seen the boys' trips. I just sit back and I watch.
I back like these girl trips. Y'all go to New Orleans. Y'all be going to get these fake massage when these dudes be getting all rubby and lusty.
Are your male friends? Are your male friends named Pookie and Ray Ray?
No, absolutely not.
What about Day Day?
No.
All right. Do they fall into that category?
No, absolutely not.
Right,
I'm telling you, I've seen trips to Colombia. I've seen trips to what is it? Curacao? That's how you say
Curacao.
Curacao. I'm telling you.
I had a friend tell me he's married in the United States of America. That's it.
All right, but look,
I said,
well, when y'all go on these girls' trips, y'all
my mans, I fuck with you. That's business. Like, business. I'm not judging. You gotta wipe the answer to, not me.
Okay. I'm just asking, are women cheating when they go on these girls' trips?
Listen, I cannot confirm nor deny. I know I'm not cheating on a girls' trip. I'm single.
Because you're single. All right.
Exactly. The whole girl that's not.
But if you wasn't, though.
Who am I to watch somebody else? Who am I?
I'm gonna hold my brother accountable. Exactly. Make sure y'all keep
the men gotta hold.
You always held your brother accountable. You might do it right now.
No, as a mature man, I hold my brother accountable.
Your whole life, you did.
Mature man.
That's why
they say black men don't cheat. Black boys cheat.
Do you consider yourself a mature woman?
Oh, I do.
But you just say you're gonna mind your business, not hold your friend accountable.
Well, actually, listen. My girls' trips took place in my 20s. I also feel like there's a time and a place for everything. Mm-hmm. I'm in my 30s. I'm approaching my 40s. I'm not gonna do the shit that I'm too scary of a person at this point. Like safety is at my top priority. I'm thinking about what this man.
Would you hold your friend accountable
at this stage? Yeah, because if we saying that black men aren't great and they don't exist, and you in a relationship and it's a healthy relationship, why would I let you fuck that up? I'm trying to be a bridesmaid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm trying to get dressed up and walk with you down the aisle.
Okay. I ain't gonna hold you. I mean, them stats say women out here cheating the most, though. I'm gonna get some super chats, Ace.
Yeah. We had a question for Paris too, man. That's crazy. But shout out to Average Bro again. He out here.
He got a nice smile. He do. He got all his side teeth.
Yo, probably say no one wants to go to all 50 states. LOL. Keep in mind there are foreign women with money and careers too.
Yes. That's a fact.
You know, I heard something, or maybe I read something that says your soulmate is not in your town that you grew up in.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Off of probability alone, like what's
you're not always saying that too, man.
And what is the chances that your fucking soulmate going to live down the block or in the same fucking? If you really believe in that, like there's fucking 8 billion people in this world.
So what you saying is you should travel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right. Shout out to the Passport Bros. BS Footballer said, to be fair, men should respect.
I like this comment. I did like this comment.
Men in poor countries and invest in business. Pay those taxi guys and create an economy, or those men will violate.
Yeah, I respect this comment.
You gotta hold down the locals, man. Locals ain't gonna like you coming in there taking their women, man.
Hello. Mm-hmm.
Average Bro added it. Yo, shout out to Average Bro, man.
I mean, he wanted all the smoke.
He active.
I don't want him either. Shit.
We don't want y'all.
He still got nice teeth. I feel like I'm not gonna say nothing mean.
Yeah, Average Bro, you might gotta chill a little bit, man.
I mean, I don't know why he's so mad. He chose violence. Who pissed
him off today, man? I ain't gonna lie. He like something I said, I guess. I don't know. Prime VA. Shout out to Prime VA too, man. He active with Super Jacks. Yeah, in Colombia, there's the strata system. A lot of brothers living there are typically dealing with a strata 5 and 6 women.
I don't know what that means.
What's the I don't know. Yeah, you talking that Colombia talk? Huh? You got
another
super chat to explain that. Like,
passport bro. I was about to say he's a passport bro.
Is that like the rating? Are they a 5
or 6?
I don't know.
Send another super chat to explain that.
Send another super chat so we know what you mean. Yo, shout out to Sir Hill. Yo, go to Sir Hill channel, man. He got good content over there. He be spinning facts, definitely, man. Shout out to Sir Hill joining the live. We got one from Ken M. He said, "I love this panel for speaking the truth." Shout out to Ken. Shout out to beautiful baller, man. Yo, we got a lot of consistent super chatters.
I like his hat.
Black women want a felon who protect, but he a swaggy cheater. Good night, safety.
Jesus Christ!
I ain't gonna hold you.
I mean, he sounds about as hateful as the girl who was in the chat talking about black men. But all right,
you think so?
Yeah, like why? First of all, black women want a felon. Why would you just assume that the black men?
Because we had multiple women on our show
taking jail calls in the middle of the show.
Oh, y'all must be watching Love After Lockup.
Loyal and dedicated.
This happened on our own show.
She said,
tell me about it. Get into it.
She said, "I can't miss this call." That's what she said.
You have a
call. She said, "I never missed the call, and I can't miss this one." So she answered it. We send you the video.
Want somebody loyal and submissive. She answering the goddamn phone,
right?
Did you see who she loyal and submissive to? Right?
He fell on hard times, is what it said.
Black women are attracted to criminals.
She even said that shit. She like niggas that look like they on their way to jail. She like, I'm not even say that.
She said, "Put your gun on the dresser."
Y'all sound like y'all can relate a little bit. Back in the day. Back in the day,
I can't. I ain't gonna lie.
Right there in Trenton.
One in 3 women can relate.
Right there in
One
Patterson.
has a 30. I'm 37. I can't relate. Maybe when I was 22.
I said back in the day.
Back in the day.
Oh, okay, all right.
Nah.
So you can't relate back in the day.
You know, back in the day.
Keep that shit.
Keep your gun on the dresser.
Yeah. Shout out to I can't. What Kevin Samuel say, Eli?
Making shit up, folks.
Yeah, making shit up. Shout out to Prime VA again, man. He said they ignore all the stories of white women killing their.
That is true.
Let me tell you something. Y'all remember that black lady that went to go spend the night at her white friend's house and she was dead and they still ain't investigate her murder?
Still to this day.
I don't go where I'm not heavily populated.
Those stories happen a lot and they just get swept under the rug.
Remember the girl in Connecticut that met that man on Tinder or something, and her family had to fight for them to open a. No, it's Connecticut. This just happened last summer, and he killed her.
Yeah, definitely something.
Y'all can keep that.
That's crazy.
Unfortunate, man.
You know what I mean? All right. Shout out to Jay Shine Randoms. He said this was beautiful to watch. Love seeing my brothers and sisters build. Shout out to you, man.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you,
man. I think that was the last super chat of the night, man. Appreciate y'all.
Y'all appreciate that man coming at us like that.
Yeah, man.
Somebody said we got on white t-shirts. We're in black business over here. I don't appreciate. Y'all are feisty in these comments.
We gotta get up out of it. Yo, remember tomorrow, 11 a.m., man, new episode. Make sure y'all hit the membership button because we got some exclusive content we dropping, man. Y'all know y'all get the episodes early. We got episodes built up for like
great episodes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't downplay them. They're great episodes. You know what I mean?
No, they super lit.
Yeah. Yo, and also we got a big weekend coming up. We having our first ever audience on our live podcast. Now, I mean, you're gonna be allowed to ask questions in the audience. It's really gonna be a big move for us. You know what I mean? Then Saturday, we got me and Eli celebrating our birthday event. You know what I mean? So come on, support. We still got a few tickets left. It's like maybe around 5 tickets left, I think.
Yeah, 5 to 8.
Yeah, it's not a yo. Yeah, I gotta get your tickets, man. You gotta leave 5 left. I mean,
and be on the lookout. We might be dropping a Y Eli track, so I mean, I don't know, man. Just be on the lookout.
Yeah, you giving too much information, man. You giving too much.
Dailyrapupcrew records, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yo, appreciate everybody in the chat. I mean, appreciate everybody that joined us. Personal Space Podcast. Go check them out. They dope. I mean, Elena, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Wait for that book.
Man, black love.
All right.
Good night.
Good night, y'all.
I gotta get Keen's permission before I close out the
you may end the live, sir.